to suppress that for now, and we're going to handle these Muslims. And what else do we agree upon? We're both anti-black. That is why people like Pepe can be in rooms with the Harrys, the BBs, and whatnot. They're saying right now we have a common agenda. We're both anti-black and we're both Islamophobic. Hmm. And you know what I'm saying? That's our number one agenda. Let's get that right, and then we'll handle the rest later.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a problem since Trump came in office. Basically, put Jews and Nazis in bed together, and now we're stuck in a situation. Yeah.
Consider me a devil's advocate, but
go for it.
When we know for a fact that most Jews in America are Zionists, that's just a fact, and what Zionism entails, and what we see in Israel, and this is them believing that this is this is a right to have this state, to have this secular ethno state. So if you have the right to have this state and you celebrate this, and most Jews in America celebrate this, why is it that these WASPs, because that's what they are, they're just Anglo Protestant people. Yeah. That's what it is. Okay. They're WASPs, and these WASPs want a WASP state. That's what they want. And so when they expect Jews to be, idealistic about their principles, and that it wouldn't just apply to Jews. That you don't believe.
So you say this is a common ideology. Like they have the same ideology.
So this is an ideal. Like if you Jews believe like Zionism is an ideal, and the way it's presenting itself in Israel, like why can't we also have that? So they'll like we also want that. So we are natural allies. Like you shouldn't be.
That might be. Yeah. I mean that's an interesting point. I don't know. I mean I understand how like people might see a commonality, like a common thread between Christian supremacy and Jewish supremacy, which is how a lot of people perceive Zionism.
Now with liberal Jews, which is just like, quote unquote, there are Jews who you see themselves, allied with like Palestine. So you would say these are liberal Jews. Now, these who ally themselves with Palestine, what would you say the percentage of liberal Jews who ally themselves with Palestine is?
So, I mean, in America, I think he's focused on American politics, right? And in America, the vast majority of Jews are liberal. And I think there's a big generation gap. I think there have been surveys. The younger generation is probably like 60-40 or something. I don't know. There's a Pew survey, which has probably changed even more since then, that shows the younger generation especially sort of shifting on the issue of Israel-Palestine. But the old guard, for sure, they have a different memory of Israel, and they remember an Israel that stood for other things, and so it's very divided. It's probably
boomers. So you would say the boomers for the most part
versus millennials and Gen Z. Yeah.
They just group up usually Gen Z and millennials. I don't think we're that far off, But
yeah. Like this app, I hope is not reflective of like Jews in America. It's like very divided along generational lines. It's hard to know on this app because on this app, like we don't know how old people are. So, but it probably still is along generational lines.
I usually ask. They're older than at least me. I'm 30. I know most of the Zios on this app are older than me. So, but I don't know anybody younger than me, actually. Maybe,
I'm older than you, too.
But, anyways, but you saw my point. Like, the WASPs see, Jews and Zionism as an ideal they want to achieve because they see that their
that's a good point.
is being threatened by that.
Benny and Pastor, I respect you. I enjoyed our conversation the other day, but we're talking about people who we think have Christian supremacist views, and I don't have a stomach for it right now because of our conversation the other day.
So I was in BB's room, right, when the Qatar thing happened, and I was like, man, that was so slimy how that happened. Like they got lured to slaughter. You were promising them that you would have a talk. to release the hostages, right? You lure them to a place and bomb them. That is the slimiest thing in the world. And the PM of Qatar denounced it, and he said that there should be a retaliation. So here we have this guy, what's his name? Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Who has been pushing anti-black rhetoric for the past week. Really for the past few years, you know what I mean? But definitely the past week, he is an enemy of the black people, right? So I'm not going to say we can. So if Hamas is your op, Hamas is your enemy, right? And you can celebrate and laugh and say, yeah, we did that. We lured them to slaughter. Why can't we celebrate the enemy of the black people?
I don't know. I think generally we should take a higher ground if we're championing human rights. We should take a higher road and not champion death of anyone, and definitely not murder or vigilante justice. There should be, if someone says hate speech, the response, I believe, is to respond to them with your own speech and to challenge them and debunk them. But as long as they're not calling for physical harm to people, and if they do, then they have to deal with the criminal consequences, right?
Respectability politics. When an Arab dies or a black person dies, oh yeah, we can laugh that off. Oh,
there you go. Yeah. You made the connection. You made the connection.
It's respectability politics. You know what I mean? But when a white
I just don't believe in laughing when people die. It's just because I don't think it's productive.
I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it for sure. The people in BB's room are very crude, but I don't think that I would hold myself to their standard.
Yeah.
I think we're better than them. No offense, BB. I see you in the audience. I love you so much.
But you get it, right? Like his angle when it comes down to blacks is the same angle Zionists, or a very similar angle to how Zionists, justify their approach to Arabs in Israel. So it's that same mentality. So if it's okay for you, it's okay for me. That's how they see it. And if the liberal Jew is the standard of what is acceptable in America, because let's not lie, like the liberal Jew, what they view as good or as wrong is usually supported by media and by the political parties in America.
And this is the through line between the not the Kahanists, but the BB, tongue-in-cheek Kahanists, BB Kapara and his friends, and the Charlie Kirks of the world, is that they all vilify and demonize liberal Jews. And so that's why they have common ground. They see themselves in this literal Nazi because they demonize liberal Jews. And Bibi Kapara in the audience, hello, demonizes liberal Jews. And that's why they're all on the same team, and they see there's a through line there. And thank you, Bibi. I'm glad you agree.
Unless it's fine if you have all these sentiments toward Charlie Kirk. All I'm saying is that pretty much Charlie Kirk is just your overspoken liberal Zionist. Like that's all he is. Like as a Zionist.
I think it was an opportunistic algorithm thing, honestly, because he became this way. He never had a kind thing to say about Jews before October 7th.
I
a lot of people suddenly jumped on this issue. Yeah.
I believe he's a WASP supremacist. I understand he is a WASP supremacist. I am telling you, there are a lot of WASP supremacists in this country, and they're not necessarily telling you, I believe that I'm better than blacks or other races, or whatever you want to even call a race. But they see themselves as the right that they maintain WASP culture and create a setting that is going to maintain WASP culture. That's what they want, the preservation of WASP culture. And the way they see it is that the example is Israel. That's the example, that you need a state. You need a WASP state. So how do you argue with that? Because, if I argue that is race, that you're a race supremacist, then I'm practically saying the Zionist is a race supremacist. And I can't get away with that in America. So, that's why he's on these campuses.
I think you can get away with that in America. I think many people do argue. Yeah, I think people in America make the argument in an academic way that Zionism, at least in the way it manifests today, is a supremacist state. They do put Jews do have supremacy over their Arab neighbors. This isn't an opinion that I think many Jews have. Okay, it's not that taboo. And I think
but more today,
the Jews who leave the lives. The Jews
these universities saying that could get you suspended, could get you kicked out of the school, could even get federal charges against you, hate crime. Burning the Israeli flag is now been in risk. It puts you at risk of facing a hate crime charge, a federal charge. So that is America today. That is these institutions, liberal institutions.
I think it's abhorrent. I think it's anti-Semitic. I think it waters down the definition of anti-Semitism. It undermines real anti-Semitism, which is a real threat to people. And I think it's harmful to Jews. Benny Adam, you don't believe in anti-Semitism at all, so I don't know why you want to participate in this conversation. You don't believe it exists. Based on our conversation.
Anti-Jewish, anti-Jews.
No, he says he thinks Jews had everything they had coming to them, basically, because that's what you told me yesterday, Benny.
It's just a religious angle.
No, he thought that Jews were the reason they were persecuted was because of something they did, because of their superiority complex. Like the way the Holocaust happened because of their superiority complex.
But isn't the religious narrative, especially if you go through the Hebrew Bible, all the things that are bad that happened to Israel is because of Israel?
No. What do you mean? All the things that happened to bad in the Bible? I don't know what the Bible has to do with recent history, which is
I'm saying the belief, the religion, the belief. If you go to these rabbis, why is shit happening to us? Either they tell you, look, here's the example of the Hebrew Bible. This is why shit happens. So,
no, that's not my experience, Nicole. I'm sorry.
I know his specific perspective. I don't want to speak for you, Benny Adam, but I know that. I guess you are a Christian supremacist.
Yeah, he is. But he's proud of it. He's okay with it.
Yeah.
Technically, anybody who believes in, if I claim I'm a Muslim, I definitely believe what I believe is the truth, and what a Christian believes is falsehood. And does that make me a supremacist? I'm not sure.
Well, you gotta.
But do you think you have rights above others? Do you think you're are superior to other religions? Or I don't know.
Superior, but again, I don't believe in race. Academically, it's not. It's a pseudo concept, and religiously, it's just we're all of one Father to begin with. So.
Oh, so you separate things in cultures, pretty much cultures and subcultures. Instead of race.
No, race is stupid. The biggest problem in American thought as a culture, as a people, is that we have this concept of race, and for some reason it's the main identifier when we want to approach people or how we see people. Immediately when you see someone in America, you immediately black guy, and you already have this software and how to deal with this person. You've already it's so hard to get beyond that in America,
because of our history. Benny, I want you to speak up for yourself. I know I said a bunch of things about you. You say you don't agree with Charlie Kirk, and he's a Christian supremacist, and you also are. So I'm curious where the division is.
There's a lot.
Okay, there's a lot of differences. First of all, he's Protestant and I'm Orthodox. Just on that basis, we have a very different understanding of what is Christianity, and a lot of aspects of Christianity. He's not even apostolic, he's not even Catholic. Second of all, from what I understand, and I don't know his theology inside out, but he's Christian Zionist, and that is, I believe, a heresy, big heresy. And when it comes to Christian Zionism, there are different approaches to it. So there's the one approach that believes that the Jewish people will, be killed when Messiah comes,
right?
And they're just an ends to a means to bring about the Messiah,
right?
And they're expendable.
Yeah.
And then there's the other strain of Christian Zionism, which believes that actually no, the Jewish covenant is still intact, and that these people are still God's chosen people. Right, so I'm not sure where he falls on with this regard, in my perspective, they're both heresies.
So you don't think the Jews are needed to be brought to Israel so that at the end times they could die or whatever? Like the evangelicals are believing this end time vision.
Yes, so this is a prophecy from God, but that does not mean that we have no obligation to fulfill this prophecy. No Christian has ever believed that our purpose is to fulfill these prophecies in order to bring about Jesus. It's that these things will happen.
Evangelicals believe that they should.
Yes. But no
so Christian Zionism, just for the pro-Israel people in the audience, Christian Zionism wants to see the demise of the Jews, right?
No, there's two strains. There's one that
is he evangelical?
Both are evangelical, right? But one of them believes that the demise of the Jews is inevitable, and we don't care that the demise of the Jews will happen in order to bring about the Messiah. These people also believe that a sliver of the Jewish people will actually accept Christ, and they will be saved, but the vast majority will be killed. And then there's another strain that believes that the Jewish covenant is still intact, and that the Jews, being God's chosen people, are like genetically superior and don't need to believe in Christ in order to gain salvation. These are two different strains of Christian Zionism, both of which are Protestant, both of which are evangelical.
And you don't know.
I don't know where Charlie.
Yeah, got it.
I think both are heresies.
Got it. I got
right? You. And if you actually believe or follow apostolic Christian history, we never believed that we have to fulfill these prophecies in order for Jesus to come. Like this is not something like the Crusaders could have, when they took the Holy Land, brought all the Jews of Europe into the Holy Land in order to fulfill this prophecy. They did the opposite. They expelled them.
Have you ever debated like a McZed or like a George?
McZed just yells at me. I've seen him be intelligent with the atheist theology people but he's.
That'd be a good debate, Benny Adam and McZed.
I've spoken to McZed several times, but yeah. With regards to like Christian supremacy, I think Christianity is supreme or is the ultimate truth. But I don't think Christians, like as people, have any kind of supremacy over other people.
Okay.
There's a big distinction there.
Okay, so some of the I don't want to rehash what we talked about the other night, but it just got it just like I just can't right now. I just don't have the stomach for it. But I like some of your views seem to suggest that Jews are fundamentally one way and fundamentally flawed.
No, I think Judaism is fundamentally flawed.
Oh, you said Jews deep you said something like you can't take the pit out of the person, or was that pastor who said that?
That was pastor who said that.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Judaism is fundamentally flawed.
How do you feel about today's events, Binyam?
It's tragic. Like nobody should be killed for their political views. Like this is wrong, right? Regardless of, and now Charlie Kirk was very pro-Zion, by the way. He defended Israel's genocide.
I just want to say he jumped on the bandwagon after October 7 opportunistic.
That's not true. Even before October 7, no, he was always very pro-Israel.
He was also anti-Semitic, though. He said anti-Semitic things.
Yeah, like I was saying, there are Protestants who believe that the Jews are bound for destruction, but still support them. Like there's a joke about Nixon, how Nixon was a terrible anti-Semite, but a great supporter of Israel. Right? So, but this does exist. But on the basis of him being very pro-Israel, even before October 7th, have a big disagreement with Charlie Kirk on this regard. And there are other aspects, other things like his vehement support of, ironically, gun violence. Or acceptance of gun violence in order to maintain the Second Amendment or whatever.
I mean, he hated black people, hated Muslims, right? Charlie Kirk. He would rail against them all the time. But Jewish people also. Well, he didn't demonize all Jews. He demonized lefty Jews, which is why right Jews, when we're having such divisions in the Jewish community, have embraced him, even though he demonizes Jews in an extremely with the vitriol, right? In the ways that he uses all the classic anti-Semitic tropes when he demonizes left-wing Jews. And that's why folks like Norm and Bibi in the audience embrace him, because he demonizes the Jews they disagree with, even though throughout history, anti-Semitism persecuted people based on their political beliefs, whether it was right or left, whether they were Marxists or capitalists. So when you endorse Bibi, Norm, and Daniel, when you endorse someone like Charlie Kirk, you're endorsing someone who's engaging in classic anti-Semitic tropes that led to the mass murder of Jewish people. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So, with regards to Charlie Kirk specifically, I don't know. Like, from what I know about him, is that he was a vehement supporter of the state of Israel up until probably a year after October 7th, because he started getting a lot of backlash from his own community with regards to his support of October 7th, and denial of a lot of things. Like, he denied that the USS Liberty incident even happened at some point, right? And he had to step that back because just the fact that it happened. But he used to deny a lot of things that the anti-Israel crowd and the crossover of anti-Semitic crowd would say to him. And he had to change his view at some point. And he was called an anti-Semite about a year ago on specifically leftist, like Media Matters and stuff like that.
But also by mainstream Jewish publications, which I'm going to put in the chat for El Normo and Daniel and BB if he's still around.
The mainstream being leftist.
No, JT is not leftist. It's like a classic news wire for Jewish people. I'm going to post an article so they can understand that this is...
I'm pretty sure JT is pretty leftist.
JTA is the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. It's backed by a pro-Israel nonprofit. Here, I'll post it in the chat. And they say he's anti-Semitic.
I want to give a message to all right-wing Israelis, right-wing Zionists and Jews. You guys are linking up with these white supremacists, with these American right-wingers, thinking that you guys share the same sentiments. You guys are linking up with Pepe, right? These people are talking about, these guys are used to the same anti-Semitic tropes that all white supremacists use in secret. You guys are just aligning right now because you have anti-Muslim, anti-Black sentiments. You're not doing yourself or your nation or your people a service by linking up with these people. I saw that.
Thank you. No, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, Hello. Normo, I want you to be able to speak. Don't get too worked up. I'm curious because I think you're kind of a liberal, right? Before October 7th. So I'm curious what you think of Charlie Kirk.
I've always been a liberal. My whole life, my whole family is.
Okay.
By the way, we're not anti-Black or anti-Muslim.
Okay, so tell me what you think of Charlie Kirk and his beliefs.
No non-Black group has given more to Black folks than the Jews of America. That's a fact. Time, expertise, and money.
Yeah, we did support the civil rights. Yeah. Okay, so can you tell me about Charlie Kirk?
I never said Jews. I never said all Jews. I said right-wing. I said right-wing.
Well, what makes them anti-Black?
Okay.
They've never done anything. And what makes them anti-Black?
Normal. Can you answer the question? I'm curious.
When I go into their rooms and they say nigger.
Oh, I don't. So you're referring to somebody who's not here. I can't help you with that. I've never heard a Jewish person say that. If they say that word, I say stop it, and then I leave if they keep doing it.
Okay.
And I get that as much from Arabs, including Mikhail, who was just on the stage. He was screaming that word for hours at a time in Amir's room.
All right. We're not rehashing. Normal. What do you think of Charlie Kirk?
I only know a few clips that I've seen on YouTube, which he's debating people on Israel. That's the first time he came to my attention. Needless to say, I'm grateful for his support of Israel. I haven't seen anything else by him.
He's motivated by his Christian supremacy, which historically has been harmful to Christians. He says he's a Christian supremacist. His group says ADL. Do you think the ADL is far left, like your friends?
I don't think anybody's far left.
So the Anti-Defamation League says that they're a far right Christian. The ADL says that Turning Point USA, the group that he founded and has branches on every college campus in America,
why don't you quote
is a pro-Christian.
I just read what they said, and they didn't say what you're saying. They said
the ADL, that's the Anti-Defamation League.
I looked it up.
They said they promote conspiracy theories, and they are a Christian supremacist group, and they're
you're gonna have to give me a direct quote.
Okay, did you see the link that I posted in the other room?
How can I see what's in the other room if I'm in this room?
No, previously. Okay, I'll send you the ADL link. Hang on.
Hang on, I'm gonna look up now. I'm asking Google or ChatGPT.
No.
Turning point. Hang on. What was the word? Is turning point racist? That's what I'm gonna say. Okay.
Are they?
Let's look it up.
This is ADL. Look at the link in the chat.
I'm there. I'm looking.
There's a link in the chat.
So it says, I'm gonna read it to you.
Mhm.
It is a right-wing student organization. This is from the ADL.
Okay.
Founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, raised millions from conservative donors and played a significant role in GOP politics and elections. Since the group's founding, he's moved further to the right. He promotes Christian nationalism, the idea that Christians should dominate the government and other areas of life in the U.S. It attracts racists. White nationalists have attended. It has created a vast platform for extremist and far-right-wing conspiracy theorists. No place does it say that it is a Christian supremacist that you just said. Try telling the truth, Buttercup. I'll listen. I'll mute up. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't say what you say it says. You have to tell the truth. You claim to be somehow involved in terrorism.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be an asshole about it. I'm going to read to you. Calm down.
Be an asshole.
Calm down.
I just read to you.
Okay, so don't be a dick.
I might be an asshole.
I'm letting you talk, so let me talk. Thank you.
Okay, go.
Okay. So this is what the ADL Jewish organization says. It's a right-wing organization founded by Charlie Kirk. He's moved farther to the right. Okay, so it's the same thing.
I just read to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't say that it's supremacist. Doesn't say that it's anti-Semitic. Doesn't say that it's anti-black. None of that.
Here it is. Promoting. Here we go. Then you scroll down, and it says promoting Christian nationalism activism. His politics moved farther to the right. He promoted conspiracy theories about the 2020 election, about COVID vaccines, and promoted Christian nationalism. That's what Christian supremacy is. That's what Christian supremacy is. I'm still reading. Calm down. Stop yelling. Jesus.
I'm not yelling.
He promoted He promoted the Seven Mountains, an idea associated with dominionism movement, which argues that Christians should be involved in 7 spheres of influence: government, media, education, business, arts, entertainment, church, and family. He referred to President Trump and said, "Finally, we have a president that understands this."
Okay, so no white supremacy, no Christian supremacy, right?
That's what Christian supremacy is, Christian nationalism.
Sorry, now you're I beg your pardon. There are 2 separate words for 2 separate phenomena.
What do you think it is?
You can say he's a Christian nationalist, according to the ADL. You can't say he's a Christian supremacist unless you have a source. And don't try to make believe one word means another, because it doesn't.
Okay, so do you deny that his events attract white supremacists and people who promote supremacist ideas? Do you know that he's associated with these organizations that promote? He collaborates with them. He's also been involved in like another. Okay.
Wait, yeah, Buttercup. Honestly, I'm reading through this ADL what page.
You're saying wax.
I mean, even if you were to assume, even if you were to assume that Christian nationalism is Christian supremacy, again, there are different kinds of Christian, doctrines. It could be a Christian doctrine that believes that the Jews are still God's chosen people, in which case this would not be anti-Semitic in the least bit. Like if he was, for example, I don't know, Catholic supremacist, then maybe you can make that argument. Even then, not a great argument. But more importantly, the ADL page doesn't say anything about him being anti-Semitic.
I don't think. I have no evidence that he was. So all of your points go out the window. Forget you, Buttercup.
I don't know if you were in the room, Norm, but we did read a series of statements that he made about Jews being responsible for hatred against them.
You mean 10 years ago when he was 21?
Wait a minute.
After October 7, after October 7, he blamed them for it.
You'll have to show me that one. So far, I've disproven everything you said. But again,
Okay, so in the chat, you'll see JTA. Click JTA. Mainstream.
Eternal.
Listen, JTA is sponsored by a pro-Israel nonprofit. Okay.
Don't try to Jew wash your false statements. Okay. Give me the facts.
Read the article that I just posted. Scroll up. JTA. Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist. This is what he says about Jews. Okay. Well, he defends. After visiting Israel, he said in 2019, that's when he discovered Israel and decided he's pro-Israel and defend Israel. So it's 2019. But after October 7, he drew controversy when he said Jewish
when he was 23.
No, in 2023, 2 years ago, Kirk controversy.
2019.
That's when he became pro-Israel. Then in October 2023, he said the Jewish philanthropy to American universities has been subsidizing their own demise by supporting institutions that breed anti-Semites. Then on the Kirk show,
You know what
let me finish. Yes, I
just to tackle that bit.
no. I know what you're gonna say. Move on.
What do you mean move on? You don't want to stop and talk about what you're saying?
No, I know what you're going to say about that, so I want us to go to the next point.
Well, we have been supporting the institutions that have become anti-Semitic.
Okay, so you agree with that. Okay, great. Good.
Well, Columbia and
Good. So,
Harvard.
great. You refuted it. Great job.
Wait. Do you disagree?
No, you're 100% right, so we're going to move on to the next point.
Okay.
The Charlie Kirk Show, he also says that Jewish people control not just colleges and nonprofits, but the movies, Hollywood, and all of it.
Okay.
So that's an anti-Semitic statement, right? That they control Hollywood?
Commonly held conspiracy theory.
Okay, anti-Semitic conspiracy. Okay, all right. And now, all right. So you say it's common. Okay, it's great. Fine.
So what point are you making right now?
Okay, I'm going through all these anti-Semitic statements. Stop. Let's go through them. We went to two. You said the second one was not so bad. Fine.
You haven't said a single one that was
Okay,
anti-Semitic.
you brilliantly rebutted the first one. The second one you said was weak.
No, you agree with me.
Okay,
Why
yeah.
don't you just get to something
I'm agreeing with you. You're
Well,
saying
why do you have to
weak.
read the ones that don't support your point? Just read the
I'm
ones
going
that
through them. I want to hear your views on each of them. Charlie Kirk, listen. Let's go to the next one. He defended Elon Musk when he said, "You have said the actual truth to a user who posted a reference to the Great Replacement Theory," writing that Jews were coming to the disturbing realization that immigrants to the United States don't exactly like them too much. Jewish communities have been pushing this kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them, Kirk said on the show.
Wait a second.
He says,
again. So Jews are pro-immigration, but the immigrants don't like the Jews. Any problem with that?
I'm finishing the statement. She's in the middle of the statement.
Was there any problem with that?
That's half the statement. It's the first half.
What's the other?
The other half of the same statement is Jewish communities. This is the white replacement theory. Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. He said on the show.
What you're saying now.
And then he said, let me finish the sentence. Let me finish. Stop. Let me finish. The philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in this country. This is the Jewish replacement theory, okay? His concerns about the erosion. Oh my God. You don't know about white replacement theory?
No, I don't know what you mean with your words.
I'm reading his statements that align. He's explaining why Jews are the reason.
Is somebody quoting him. So I think to understand what he said, we should listen to what he said instead of listening to somebody quoting him.
You want to play the show?
What you're
trying to gaslight this woman, man. She's reading direct quotes.
No, she's not.
Now you're moving the goalposts and saying that's different videos. You're going to send her on a quest to find videos.
It's not a direct quote, sir.
You're not about to gaslight this woman.
Sir, no, you're not about to take your ignorance and stink up the room.
No, you're gaslighting this woman.
You're stinking up the room.
And we're all seeing this.
Okay, we all now
white supremacist rhetoric about Jews.
Okay, I want to hear the white supremacist part.
He's giving it.
Well, hang on, let me hear it. I want to hear you tell me what
it to you.
No, she's not.
Yes,
What you said makes no sense. And what you say makes no sense.
The Jews will not replace us. The Jews will not replace us.
When did he say that? When did he say that?
No, wait.
No, Othello, hang on. Everybody stop. When did he say that, Othello?
He's
He supported Elon Musk's defense of
No. When did he say Jews will not replace us?
When he said that Elon Musk is speaking the absolute truth. Okay. Elon Musk shared a tweet or made a tweet.
What was the tweet?
Okay, read it, Buttercup.
Wait, I thought you knew it, Othello. You just
he doesn't know every turn and twist of the social media controversy. Okay?
Well, then why is he talking?
Because he's referring to the same social media
Trying to
controversy.
gaslight this woman in front of
Oh my gaslighting if you don't know what the fuck
No one remembers every twist and turn of fucking bullshit on social
When
media.
did he say Jews will not replace us?
he described a philosophy that is associated with the folks who marched in Charlottesville and said Jews will not replace us, okay? Which is called, the theory is called white replacement theory, right?
Yeah. And who described that?
So Kirk wrote it in defense of Elon Musk when he shared the tweets and defended that endorsed this policy. And what he said in that context, Kirk said in the context of Elon Musk's tweet in endorsing white replacement theory, he espoused the similar views.
So you're quoting the JTA, quoting Kirk, quoting Musk? That's what you're doing right now?
No. Kirk, JTA is quoting the show, and there's a link if you read the article. He links to Kirk's show.
Right.
Where on his show, which is linked in this article, he's talking about this Elon Musk tweet and why he endorses
And the Musk tweet is that somebody's telling the truth.
Someone who supports white replacement theory. And
And
who
who is that
referenced
person?
it.
Who is that person?
The user who is referencing. I'm talking about Kirk and what he says to support this.
You told me that Kirk supports Musk, who supports somebody else who was unnamed.
No, but Kirk, when he's defending it, he's espoused the same ideas
Okay,
on
so
his show
Kirk,
that's linked.
so you're telling me that Kirk espouses white replacement theory?
Yes.
Okay, where?
Okay, so here's the statements he made on the show, which I can link if you would like. So let me link to that.
Just tell me where and when and what he said.
Okay.
Kirk said,
I just read it to you. Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites. The idea, white replacement theory is that Jews are
I know
part of
what it is.
Okay, so Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. They're saying Jewish people hate white people.
right, it doesn't, you're telling me that Charlie Kirk says Jews hate white people.
Yes. The philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness and wanting finance.
Is this, wait, is this in quotes? You're telling me that,
Tell you how many times
Yes,
I
it's in
heard
quotes.
Charlie Kirk say Israel has the right to defend itself. So this sounds like BS to me.
Royal, we're talking about why he is anti-Semitic, even though he's a fierce defender of Israel. The reason he defends Israel is
you're
for
telling me that he
opportunistic reasons.
supports replacement theory, but you haven't, and you're quoting the JT Jewish Telegraph Agency.
Which is backed by My Jewish Learning, which is a
I know
pro-Israel
what the
organization.
JTA is. I know 1,000 times more about this.
I worked at the JTA, silly.
And you still don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
Oh, really? Is that a quote that you just read me from Charlie Kirk?
It's a direct quote from his show.
Read me the beginning of the quote.
Okay, I'll read it again.
Yeah.
We're going in circles. Jewish communities, stop being so hostile. I
Stop being
respect
so
you more.
hostile. Stop being so hostile at a person who wants to dismantle Israel. Forgive me.
All right, dude, you're being. I thought you were gonna behave yourself. You're not behaving yourself, okay?
Wait, what the? Are you kidding me right now?
Behave yourself. Come
Are
on.
you kidding me?
This is my room.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, you're
Be
rude.
kind.
But
There's a quorum here.
did you not say you want to dismantle Israel?
No. Once again, you're misrepresenting my words.
Okay, explain to me those words.
We're talking about your favorite guy first.
It's not my favorite guy. You're a liar. Stop
So
being
how
a
do you feel?
liar.
Tell us how you feel about him.
Stop being a liar. I told you what I feel about him. All I heard from him was a bunch of clips on YouTube saying how much he supports Israel and attacking the Nazi assholes
Yes,
who support
100%.
who support the murder of Jews. He attacks them and he debunks them. Like you. People just like you who support the murder of Jews. People who want to dismantle Israel and
This
people
is
who
why you're
support
scaring me, and I don't like it.
people. I beg your pardon? I'm not swearing you. I'm quoting you directly. I wrote it down when you said it.
Let me read some of Kurt's words.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. It's my fellow's turn.
All right, he says Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim they want people to stop using
Where
it.
are you reading this from?
Same quote I read.
Oh, so you're reading, so you don't have a source, right?
He said the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in this country.
What is your source? What is your
JTA.
source?
Buttercup, can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
I'm asking the fellow. Where did you get that? You said it's on X. What's the source on X?
Okay, let me get it to you.
Please.
Royal, no one disputes that he's pro-Israel. That's not the issue. We're talking about whether he also espouses Christian supremacist views and racism.
Which so far you have not
I
done.
have a few questions. How old are you, Buttercup?
Older than you.
Over 30.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're older than me. Great. Okay. Are you American or are you Israeli?
She's American.
You're American. Okay. Are you celebrating? Is this like a
Of course
celebration?
not. Of course not. We don't celebrate anyone's death. We're unfortunately, people fetishize this guy.
Wait. You're calling him a... Wait.
I want to ask you, do you understand?
You're calling him a Nazi, so presumably you celebrate the death of Nazis, so don't lie.
I would never celebrate anyone's death. I'm just trying to honor his legacy properly.
Okay. Is Charlie Kirk a Nazi?
No, he's not.
Okay. Now, is Norm a Nazi? Because somebody told me you called me a Nazi earlier, and they recorded it.
I didn't call you a Nazi.
Hey, there's
That's
your
what they
source,
said.
Norm.
No, I said you are I called you Kahanis. You're part of the Kahanis room, but and I said it was tongue in cheek. I said it was tongue in cheek.
I was told you called me a Nazi.
No.
I did not.
This is your source.
I did not support Kahana.
I mean,
But I know I said it was tongue in cheek. I
basically,
Clearly, you don't support Kahanis. And I said it's tongue in cheek. That me and Amos call you Kahanis as a joke in a tongue in cheek way.
I don't think it's a joke. I think Amos is serious. I think you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Amos is serious that you're a Kahanis? He calls you a Kahanis.
Huh? No.
Amos calls you a Kahanis.
You don't know what Kahana is. Use words that you know. Then you know.
Do you understand that this happened on a college campus? The shooting happened on a college campus.
Yes.
Right. So that's my whole point. You know, people ranting and raving and trying to just continuously diminish his character when he was just shot dead a few hours ago.
Yes.
It's kind of giving a
Calling him a Nazi. It's filthy and
sounds like
disgusting.
you guys support, like, it literally sounds like you guys support school shootings. I don't even agree with Charlie Kirk, but I'm not going to sit here and just, you know, diminish his character, call him a Nazi and all this.
Buttercup supports violent resistance against oppression and dismantling Israel.
But this is not how we deal with U.S. citizens dying, like, especially on schools.
You don't call people who assassinated Nazis justifying their murder, Royal?
No, this is disgusting behavior.
No, listen. Even Buttercup is not justifying this.
Oh, if you call somebody a Nazi, then you're
I've never endorsed his murder. I've only condemned it.
calling him a Nazi endorses his murder.
No, it
Of
doesn't.
course, we gotta kill Nazis. Oh, yes, it does.
You endorse murders all the time, Norm.
Never did. Never did.
No. Hold on.
Never did.
If you think, hold on. Norm, are you saying that just because someone is a Nazi that justifies you killing him?
No, I'm saying you guys make that argument about the Jews.
No. Just even if I call Charlie Kirk a Nazi, that does not mean I de facto justify his assassination. It only means
I disagree with you.
It only means that. Hold on. You're interrupting me. It only means that. Stop interrupting me.
Oh, don't
It only means that if you think it is justified to murder anyone,
No, you do.
Normal, stop interrupting me.
Well, then stop bullshitting me.
Stop interrupting me.
Stop
It
bullshitting.
only means, dude, it only means,
Alright, just speak, Benny.
thank you. He's gonna keep interrupting. But yeah, just because you call someone a Nazi, that does not mean you justify his murder.
Oh, yeah,
It only justifies his murder. Again, I knew he would interrupt me. I knew he would fucking interrupt me.
Why
It only justifies his murder.
What's your next point?
You think that murdering Nazis is valid.
You think that.
That means that you think
No,
that
you
murdering someone based on their political ideology is in fact valid. I do not think that. Even if someone is a Nazi, I do not think it is justified to murder them. I do not think it is justified to murder anybody based on their political ideology. You do, which is why you think that calling someone a Nazi is a justification for their assassination. We can call people Nazis or communists and not justify their assassination and in fact denounce their.
Thank you. You lost yourself, as usual, Ben. You know,
No, you just couldn't control yourself and continue to interrupt
I
me.
don't need to
Which is why I asked
First
yourself.
then, and then Normal, you'll have your turn. But we're doing
I'm not. Honestly, I think I got my point across. He's gonna keep interrupting me, so I don't really care.
And Normal, you want to say something?
Listen, he thinks it's valid to kill people based on their political ideology.
that is why you call Charlie Kirk a Nazi.
No, but I denounce his assassination. Oh,
Beautiful. Mazel tov.
So I don't think it's right valid.
Uh-huh.
You do.
Sir, you're a liar.
No one has endorsed killing in this room,
I
okay?
want to be
You're
more
the only
accurate.
one.
I want to be more accurate. You're a fucking liar.
Alright,
How am I a liar? In what way did I lie? Justify that statement.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's go to the next point. What do you have, Buttercup?
Justify that statement. How am I a liar? How am I a liar? Justify that statement.
Because you just claim to say what I say, what I think, and what I do. You're a fucking liar.
In what way do you not justify it?
By the way, it's a sin, and God punishes sins of the sin bearing forward witness very harshly.
I do not bear false witness. Justify how I lied.
You
Justify how I lied.
What you said.
Justify how I lied.
You said that I justified killing Nazis, and I did not. You're a fucking liar.
No one's justified killing Nazis.
Now you need to go to your God.
Alright, nobody is justifying killing Nazis. Time out. Normo, do you want to move on to the next point, or do you want to go down? What do you want?
Go down?
Yeah, do you want to talk about something like substantive, or you want to just yell at Benny?
No, I didn't have to yell at Benny. Benny yelled at him.
No, you just continued to have to
The last
interrupt me
word
in order for me not to talk.
I know you're very insecure about what you have to
So
say.
that's all you could do. You could just interrupt me.
Alright, next person to interrupt is going down.
Here's the point,
No.
Buttercup.
Normal.
When you say that you want to dismantle the Jewish state,
Alright, Benny,
when you
Normal,
say,
you're not cooperating.
what's that? What do you mean cooperate?
We're trying to move on to the next point. We're being substantive. Let's move the fuck on.
Well, let's
Yeah, we can argue about my feelings about the Jewish state a different time. It's not the topic, silly. The topic is my feelings about the Jewish state is not the topic here.
No, I'm saying your murderousness towards
Alright,
Jews.
you know what? Enough already. Enough. This is just deranged.
Is it deranged?
Alright, I never called for the murder of anyone, including the Jewish state.
Norm, you're
The reason, I just want to say, Bibi Kapara and Norm, the reason they call me a murderer of the Jewish state is because I believe that the current form of the state is not sustainable. People keep dying. It's been escalatory violence for 70 years. And we need a new model so people can live in peace and stop dying. And he thinks that makes me a capo. He thinks that makes me a traitor. He thinks that makes me a bad Jew. And that's okay.
You're just an altruistic liberal, and
Yes,
it's about
maybe I'm
science.
naive, but it's not a crime.
I know you. I know your kind. I'm from California. I'm from the Bay. Your kind is no. I know, but you're part of an altruistic left in America. And Mazel tov. It's rare when I meet someone like you on these apps. You know, it's refreshing. We need left in more. We need more left on this app.
Okay, so another point I wanted to make before Normo just went on and crashed out is that in addition to having espousing these ideas of white replacement theory, he's also just goes on rampages all the time about black people. He's been obsessed with fucking black people, and he's always just demeaning them and accusing them and Muslims of being sort of the root of all evil in society, and that too is a reason that he is considered a supremacist. Jihadist loves Charlie Kirk, okay? That means he
also insinuated, and I just posted the link in the chat, he insinuated that Netanyahu proposed a stand-down order on October 7th and allowed Hamas to come into Israel and commit what they committed. So I posted the link in the chat. This guy's a type A white supremacist. I don't know if that is true though. I'm just saying he pushed it.
I mean, that is factually out there. There was a stand-down order on October 7th that is completely...
First of all, that's not accurate. That is speculation, and I think we need to be clear about that. I understand that people speculate.
Even in Israel, they're very critical of this.
Yes, no. I think you guys are conflating a lot of things. That there was a stand-down order so that October 7th could happen. That's not what happened. What happened is there were I actually read the internal post-mortem from the IDF that hasn't been made public. And what happened, they talked about sort of their intelligence failures, and there's a lot of questions that are not answered because the Israeli government won't allow them to do an investigation. So the truth is we don't know. And I try to have the same high threshold for proof on both sides when each side makes claims. And the fact is we don't have proof yet. We don't have proof yet, yes, but it wasn't a full investigation. And it wasn't.
Yes, and Kirk insinuated it, and I posted the link in the chat.
Without evidence.
He did. I remember that. But he was just like, I don't know. It was just a
Okay, so
question.
guys, I want the Zionists to know, how do you feel about the fact that Kirk thinks that
innocence, man, it's in their subconscious. It's gonna come out. You just wait.
I'm so flattered by all the clarity.
Buttercup, but there is within Israel, like in the right, people who believe like October 7th was like a deep state job. Like they allowed this to happen so they could wipe out Gaza, like continue to like push Zionism into high gear. Like they wanted this.
That's not a far right conspiracy. It might be like on the left, people speculate because there were all these like ridiculous intelligence failures, combined with like not listening to the spotters, combined with like Netanyahu's alliance with Hamas. But like the fact is, the people on the right don't say this. They love Netanyahu, and they wouldn't accuse him of causing this massacre. So if Charlie Kirk said that, and I'm going to read the link that you put in the chat, then that is like should be a big taboo for these folks who think that he's some champion of the Jewish people. This is Forbes.com. Basically, okay, so conspiracy theorists say that Benjamin Netanyahu issued a so-called stand-down order for the Israeli military, but there's nothing to show that the Israeli government knew of the surprise attack, which killed over 1,300 people. On TikTok, Facebook, and X. All right, let's see. It's fine. The origin of the conspiracy theory appears to be Charlie Kirk, a far-right influencer and strong supporter of Donald Trump, who leads Turning Points. He insisted he wasn't spreading conspiracy theory before he immediately helped spread it on century conspiracy. Well, I'm not going to go so far as to say that Netanyahu knew that there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand-down order? Was there a stand-down order? He said, repeating the rhetorical question for emphasis. Kirk's wild speculation doesn't appear to have any basis in fact, but instead hinges on the fact that he has been to Israel many times and the whole country is a fortress. He's suggesting that Netanyahu's supposed stand-down order was a bid to garner support due to the Israeli leaders' domestic political problems around controversial judicial reform. Kirk insisted of the attack. When I first heard the story, I had the same gut feeling that I initially did. This is very hard to believe. The clip went viral on TikTok before migrating to places like X, where the hashtag BBNew gained steam on Monday. But of course, there's no evidence that Netanyahu knew of the attack in advance, although many Israelis are understandably upset over the intelligence failure. Just so we're clear, Charlie Kirk is implying that Bibi Netanyahu purposely let Hamas murder 1,200 Israelis and behead children, blah, 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 blah. So it was clearly
I'll tell you this. October 7th, the initial timing, the Israelis were probably they ignored the spotters. It was a holy day. A lot of them were just not doing anything, and so they over-reliance on technology that was Hamas had years to figure out and exactly see how it responds, and they caught them with their pants down. But after the very few hours, like the 3-4 hours, after that, there was a delayed response. The military should have showed up. Hamas was not expecting to be able to overextend the way it is. They thought that after securing the military team, they would have fights with the military. So they would see tanks approaching and that they would be dealing with Apaches.
I've heard this theory before, and it's fun. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just that Netanyahu won't allow an investigation to disprove it. Okay, so the same standards they apply.
Wait, check the link. No. That's not even all it is.
I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm just saying they won't allow an investigation, so we don't know one way or the other. And I'm going to apply the same standard I do to Daniel when he gives me like fucking propaganda memes about starvation in Gaza. You need to have a certain standard of proof before you make a statement. A claim. I understand the claim. It's just a claim right now, and we won't know until there's a real investigation, which is really never going to happen.
Check the link I put in the chat. This is a soldier from the Golani Brigade. He actually said that there was a stand-down order on the morning of October 7th to not conduct our normal morning routine. What was it like? Operations, right? So, like, this comes from the Golani, and this guy is named, not just like a wrong soldier. Check the link in the chat. And he's not even the only soldier to say.
By Radio Rebelda, I'm sorry, but I don't know what this news site is.
You can find. Okay.
This is not Radio Republic Cuba. Let's see. I want to see Israeli Shalom Sheet Reed to a station in Pega. We're playing. He said, citing the Cradle reported, citing Israeli media outlets. So, okay, let's go find the Cradle.
Because of the it took place like 4 a.m, like after Fajr. So right after Fajr, they engaged in the operation. So right after dawn, the operation began. The October 7th or Aqsa flood. Then the question is like,
Here's the real
how long did the Israeli military know after the operation began? Like, how long did it take them to know that they were facing a full?
I agree. There's a lot of questions, but my point is, I just want to there's a lot of questions and a lot of unanswered things that, unfortunately, until there's an investigation, we won't know.
Well, Buttercup, you don't need an investigation to know this is what happened.
Okay. So I'm looking him up individually aside from this source. It says on July 20, he testified before Knesset committee that he received an unusual order on the morning of the attack to halt border patrols. His testimony, also posted on social media, raised concerns about the broader failures leading up to the attack. Since his injury, he's been rehabilitated. He's become a public figure sharing his inspirational story. To explain the implications of his testimony. Okay. He was given a strange order. Even the commander who gave the order didn't understand why they were giving this order. So, I mean,
What time did the order come in?
5:20 a.m.
I mean, there was a lot of misinformation, a lot of mistakes that day. But I don't know. Listen, I don't want to miss this. Guys, I understand the theory. It's a claim, it's a theory, but we don't have more information. All we know is, there was a lot of strange things. There was a lot of miscommunication, and there have been
I'll tell you at least what happened.
Let's put together what we do know. So there were claims from people.
Guys, we're not doing this. We're talking about a Nazi. We're not talking about.
Okay, she doesn't want to talk about October. So.
No, we're not entertaining.
You guys can piece that together.
Yeah,
No,
piece together.
what Charlie Kirk said wasn't wrong. That's what I'm trying to say.
But that's not the topic. I don't want to go through your anti-Jewish conspiracy theories right now. I know we don't have enough. If we don't have enough data right now, because you're speculating. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying we don't have data. We don't have anecdotal, dude. It's called anecdotal data.
Just drop it.
It's one guy's testimony. Okay, let's move on.
Wait, so if I bring you more guys to substantiate his testimony, we'll just
topic, and if you keep harping on it, then we need to focus on the issue. We're not talking about
Charlie Kirk, he's a Nazi. Okay.
The topic is Charlie Kirk. If you don't want to talk about it, then you don't have to talk about it.
Well, this was something that Charlie Kirk talked about. But anyway, okay, fine.
So he's a truth teller. You're saying he's a truth teller by
I'm saying that not everything he said was a lie.
Okay, so then you do agree with him. I don't know if you agree.
Yes, I can both agree and disagree with a person. I don't have to wholeheartedly agree or disagree with somebody. Just because CNN lied, that doesn't mean everything that CNN says is a lie.
Okay, he has no evidence. He offered anecdotal evidence for something that spread like wildfire, and we have not found substantial data to support it yet, but perhaps there will be in the future. In the meantime, let's give it a rest and focus on the fact that Israelis have aligned themselves with someone who spreads anti-Jewish conspiracy theories. And this is included because he doesn't have enough data, just like you and I don't have enough data. So it's speculation until he does have the data. He did it before there was any data in, so that's why it's speculation. Until the data comes in, then we just don't know. I'm not saying this because I'm a defender of Israel or not. I'm not a defender of Netanyahu. I think he's a crook. I think he aligns himself with Hamas. I'm not like I think he's a fucking genocidal monster. I think he aligned himself with Hamas. I think he propped up Hamas for years. But that doesn't mean we have to entertain every speculative story.
Move on first. He doesn't want to talk about October 7th. He doesn't want to talk about next guy. I think if the shooter is what we all think the shooter is, Antifa, most likely far left. I think the left is like the far left. I would be surprised if the shooter's on the right. That's just, but I mean, with the shooters that we've seen, like the one who shot Trump, like that guy was also like on the right apparently. So it's
We
weird.
don't really know anything about that guy. That's what's funny.
I don't know. So I'm not gonna make my bets on this one because the shooter, with the pattern that we've seen, could totally be, on the right. I don't know.
So look, if you're willing to entertain conspiracy theories,
We did read those comments he said about Jews and they're accusing them of their cultural Marxism, accusing them of being controlling the media and Hollywood. But Norm says that's all fine. That's a normal anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that we're cool with, as long as he supports Israel. So they didn't really care about that. Thanks, Sam.
I mean, they are very influential. You could say that, like, Zionists.
See, this is.
You don't want to say Jews. You could say
honestly,
Zionists. Do you deny that Zionists are very influential in Western media?
Yes, they're.
Whoa.
No. On the one hand, no. It depends who you ask, right? So, in my experience as a journalist, when both sides accuse you of bias, you're usually on the right track. Like you're usually somewhere. It means you're trying to be balanced, and nobody's happy. You're taking the balanced road. And both Zionists and anti-Zionists accuse the New York Times of being completely biased for the other side. And so papers like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, which hold themselves to high journalistic standards, which means that they attribute every statement that they make, and they do it with neutrality, and they attempt, even if they get something wrong, they correct the record. They're subject to libel law, so if they say something wrong, they can be sued. And they use original sources, and when they need to explain the way that
Mossad agents.
They employ Mossad agents.
Yeah, they had a Mossad agent for one of their articles, and so like a former Mossad agent.
No, there's a woman who used to be an Israeli, so she's serving the IDF or something, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that woman. Was it just IDF, or was she
No,
like
just
some
IDF.
sort of Mossad?
No, but everyone in Israel serves in the IDF.
Or whatever her department. She was an officer. She's not like some.
Okay, she wasn't an officer when she was reporting for the paper, though. She has
She's a
served.
former, former.
But everyone in Israel is that way, so that's generally not a disqualifier.
But what she was, what her department was in the IDF, I believe it had something to do with media or something.
Okay. So, I think since we're talking about a guy who espouses anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, Mikhail, I respect you, I like you, but you also espouse anti-Semitic conspiracies, and so do you, Benny Adam, and so I think it's not really...
I'm saying facts. Facts. You can't deny that American media, Western media, is very Zionist.
Okay.
It's very Zionistic.
I think there are outlets that are more Zionistic and those that are more left-leaning. There's a whole media ecosystem.
even left and right media organizations in America and in Western Europe in general are both deeply influenced, I wouldn't say controlled, but influenced by Zionist Jews.
So they're influenced, I think, by an America-centric narrative, which tends to be very Zionist, right? Because of America's history with Israel, their geopolitical interests in the region, the AIPAC, of course, the way our government is shaped by Israel, and I think it's wrong.
Our government is shaped by Israel. That's the point.
Yes, because over time...
no one runs Israel, Jews.
Okay.
I mean, forget Jews, Zionists. How about that? We just say using Zion.
Sorry, Benny.
It's like we're just talking about the same points instead of getting to the topic.
I mean, they're really just like they're.
You guys
I think
have no finesse, man. Like you guys don't know how to get in the flow of this shit, man.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go.
You know,
they're getting distracted by their own.
Yeah, I mean, we know what it is. You think the people down there ever heard?
Oh, he's Canadian. He's not American. So he can't relate to in America. He can't put himself in the political mind. So all he can relate to us with is on a broader spectrum.
We talking about Kahanis, what she's calling Kahanis on this app, supporting someone who has espoused anti-Semitic.
And you guys are espousing the same ideas. It's not really helping this case. So you're basically siding with the pro-Israel right when you espouse the same anti-Semitic
this is
conspiracy
what we're doing.
theories.
We're doing America mode. Okay, hey, I'm on the left too. Like I'm with you guys. Like I'm a leftist. I'm not like a far leftist. I might be more closer to the middle.
But what you guys are doing essentially is you're lining yourself up with the BB Kaparas of the world and the norms by saying, oh yeah, Charlie Kirk's anti-Semitic conspiracy theories were 100% true. So you're basically saying, if you're aligned with Charlie Kirk, then you're aligned with these guys.
We're not saying it's 100% true. I'm not saying it's 100%
The whole point.
true. I believe
well, you're getting derailed by them because you're getting too excited. They're so alluring for you. They're so tempting for you.
Charlie Kirk is no doubt, and I'll say it right here, is no doubt a WASP supremacist. He wants WASP only. He is a WASP advocate, and that's what he wants. He wants a WASP state, or a state that, its constitution is WASPism.
The problem
that's
is,
what he wants.
I want to be honest with you and Benny because I respect you. You guys have hold views about Jewish people that when you hear these anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that, like, those of us who recognize them as tropes hear them as tropes, you guys hear them as alluring because of your views about Jewish people and the control over our political systems and our media and politics and everything. And I'm not saying AIPAC doesn't have disproportional power and it's an atrocity and that all the fucking bad shit that's happening in Israel right now and Gaza. But the fact that the reason it's frustrating to have both of you on stage when we're trying to talk about a really nuanced issue, which is the fact that right-wing Jews have aligned themselves with a man who espouses these hateful views, is that you and Benny Adam, because of your own politics, are seduced by these ideas. So whenever we bring them up, you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Fuck the Jews,
Exactly. We're not here to talk about. We're not here to.
You're just so easily seduced. You're such a sucker for this shit,
I mean, tell me, Buttercup, if we're in World War II, and someone said on the streets, we're literally in Normandy.
I'm just
right
saying,
now.
focus. Stop getting distracted by your own sort of prejudices.
I'm just saying, and then we have a conversation, and we're having a conversation about politics in America, and one says, "Fuck the Germans." Like, we're fighting at that point, is it like, are we being like anti-German? Are we saying like all Germans are bad, or like we want to where do we draw the line in these things?
Well,
when someone says Jews, do we mean every single Jew, or do we mean like the majority?
The line has to be drawn. The line in the room has to be drawn because we're not here to debate.
All these, they're very alluring to people like you and Benny and Pastor. I understand, they're tempting, they're tasty,
okay,
they're
well,
juicy.
I'm willing to move
but
on.
Just move the fuck on because it's not the topic, okay?
Okay, I said I'm willing to move on. You want to make it a left versus Charlie Kirk? I'm with you.
I think this might be too nuanced an issue to just to explain what Kahanists are and to explain what Nazis are, to explain what anti-Semitism, that it exists at all, is like, it may be too much to explain in a conversation like this. These are subtle alliances that I find repulsive, and it's kind of an internal debate in the Jewish community. It's something to explain it to you. For people who identify as Jews in America, it's been really, really gross to see our institutions, many Jewish institutions, align themselves with neo-Nazis and white supremacists and Christian supremacists and the Christian right, that espouse these views that not only are espouse conspiracy theories about Jewish people, but they demonize left-wing Jews, which is a huge portion of a population. So they're basically demonizing the vast majority of Jews in America, which is really dangerous and really harmful.
The thing is, he had to clean it up. That's the whole thing.
It's not clear why he went to this pro-Israel crazy, becoming like a champion.
He had to clean it up because he had to align himself under Trump. You line yourself under Trump, you line yourself under AIPAC, right? Trump was like, yo, you need to clean that shit up because I can't bring you with me if you saying this shit. So he cleaned it up and he recognized, okay, Israel is our allies. Let me clean this shit up and let me get on this right-wing Islamophobic anti-black train and we're just going to unite over those sentiments.
Yeah. I appreciate your fellow, you get it. Like, there's just like, it's like people pitting identities against each other here. And like there's all these like subtle internal bigotries that we're like missing the bigger picture here. We're getting like hung up on like it's such a complicated alliance to explain. And that's what we're trying to explain here, and you're muddying it.
Listen, I was talking to a right-wing Israeli Zionist that's in this room right now. He has a buttercut picture. This was a couple years ago. This was a couple years ago. I said, why would you share a stage with Pepe and mod him, knowing his anti-black stance, knowing his white supremacist stance? He said, brother, I don't give a fuck what he feels about your community, as long as he's pro-Zionist.
Chilling. It's anti-Jewish in my opinion. We have a long, at least on the progressive Jewish side, legacy of social justice, and it's like foundational to the way I understand at least modern American Jewish identity. And like that really, it grosses me out that our Jewish institutions have been so cowardly about this issue, how they endorse Elon Musk's Hitler thing, like Hitler salute. I mean, it's just, why would anyone? It's not even clear anymore what it means to be Jewish. It's just really shattering. It's like the world, the earth is jerked out from under us. Everything we thought was right is suddenly like our institutions are turning on us and demonizing us, along with Nazis like Charlie Kirk.
No, I know there needs to be. There are a lot of leftist Jews who are truly leftist, who believe in leftist values in America. I'm with you. I believe in leftist values.
The vast majority of Jews. That's who they're demonizing.
I might be a Muslim, and we might be, the way I come off in my conversations, because it has to do with the conflict. That I present my views from that angle, but from within America, I'm a leftist. So I'll tell you the values and principles and ideals that don't talk about any identity. That we should axiomatically believe in this stuff. So we're against racism, we're against ethno supremacy, we're against ideological supremacy, support the freedoms of everyone to worship and commit to any tradition they want and identify any way they want. I'm with you on these beliefs.
And Kyle, and that's precisely.
I think a lot of Jews do believe in these values.
And that's precisely what Charlie Kirk is demonizing and characterizing as Jewish, driven by Jews and Jewish power. Just as you see Jewish power, promoting this like pro-Zionist conventions, he sees Jewish power as fighting white people and promoting this like the spirit of inclusivity and human and social justice.
He terrorizes Jews. So he terrorizes Jews that you shouldn't go against me because you advocate because I'm no different than Zionism. That's what he says.
He says we're advocating for our own demise by believing in justice for all and equality, basically. That's his argument. And that's the vast majority of Jews that have these values, American Jews. That's just American Jewish identity.
Yeah, we're all equal.
It is essential to it, yeah.
We're all equal. The thing is that he uses to terrorize you guys is that, Israel sees that, it's a Jewish state and you celebrate Zionism. So, like, if you celebrate that, why is it only exclusive to Jews, and why can't I also celebrate that, that mentality or that ideology? Or that ideal, like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Like, this is what the white guy is saying in America. Like, this is the WASP mentality. This is how they got you guys hijacked.
And I think you actually made a point earlier, and I want to take it a step further about the sort of the through line between Zionism and this Christian supremacy, right? He sees Israel as being, like it or not, whether they are or not, for the people who take issue with this, he sees them as an ethno-state that espouses these Judeo supremacist ideals, and he wants that in America. That's what he believes America should be, right? And so that's the through line. That's what he admires. Like, that is clear. So essentially, what you're doing, Bibi, Kapara, and Aleph, and Norm, when you fetishize this man, is you are saying, you are aligning yourself with this through line that he's painted, which is that that Zionism is synonymous with Jewish supremacy, because he himself believes that this is a noble, worthy aspiration. I don't know if that made any sense, Mikhail. Maybe you can explain it better than I can.
No, it makes sense.
So, I don't know.
I mean, the problem with the left, we're the altruistic, like, we want to speak in, like, principles and ideas. When we get to the nuances of it all, we don't want to be, trying to, like, even bring up identity or culture, or even talk about race or anything like that. We always want to keep it general. And I think that it's not working out. Like, we gotta be, at this point, we gotta really line up what we believe in, and that's it. We gotta pass judgment. If we know what the ideals are, we gotta start condemning. And I believe the left in America is doing that. Like, we're finally kicking in. Like, it's, especially when it comes down to Israel.
Is Cleto Pepe? Who's Cleto?
Yeah, that's Pepe.
Okay. So he's supremacist?
That is being oppressed. That is being oppressed. This final, like, awakening that we're having. Finally, we're going to be altruistic, and we're going to be honest, and we're going to condemn what needs to be condemned. This is being oppressed in America right now. And the bedrock of all this is our universities. And if they manage to, like, enclose us within the universities and, like, oppress us using the very institution, like, that destroys who we are. At that point, we need to fight back against this.
What are the universities doing? I mean, I know there's, like, this debate about free speech happening, but I think both sides claim the universities are being weaponized against them, right? So yeah. So I don't, like, that's another sort of hot.
Well, why is it being weaponized now? Like, why now over Israel? Like, all of this is happening. Like, why is it shift? Why is the freedom of speech and, like, the way it's presented in America being dictated by the event that is Israel and what's happening in Gaza? Why is that the case? Why is it so influential in American politics? And
I mean, I think the genocide is part of it. I mean, I understand why it's the number one. For a while, it was the number one story. I mean, for Israel is, and America have this unique relationship, right? And Israel does have, because of, Israel's relationship with America and AIPAC's sort of influence on our politics, a lot of things that happen in Israel are big news, right? But then the war, which has turned into this proxy war with, like, Iran and Russia and China, of course it's the main story. I mean, I don't think that's, like, a conspiracy theory, honestly. And plus, there's, like, a fucking genocide happening that's supposed to never happen again, in my opinion. Allegedly, okay, guys?
I don't know, like, there's been a genocide happening, and I'm not saying, like, just Palestine. I'm telling you, since the war on terror happened, there have been millions of Muslims who have been killed around the world, and especially in the Arab world. And, there have been conflicts that have been brewing in this region, and there seems to be no end to this. And when we always look at these conflicts, we're seeing a Western hand. There's always a Western hand in these conflicts.
Okay, Pepe wants to come up, Buttercup. Let's see what he has to say.
And so,
Isn't
No,
Pepe
why
like
now?
a bigot? Like, I don't know. Why should someone said he's like a white supremacist guy that got clipped a bunch of times?
Well, let's see what he has to say because, he's one of the Kahanas. So
Is he?
I want to see why,
What's his background?
as a Zionist,
I can't do another like anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Just
it's Pepe. He's not unreasonable. He just like
okay.
he has no. He
he's,
doesn't really
in the,
concede
he's
himself.
in the rooms with Bibi. Yeah.
Okay. What's up, Pepe? What's up?
So you're conflating Mayor Kahana with Nazis?
No, I'm not. I'm talking when I talk. So I'm going to explain again. Mayor Kahanis, as you may know, are the far right in Israel. They're followers of Mayor Kahana who espouse violence and are kind of the root of all the violence that comes from Israeli society. But the reason I'm using the word Kahanis, Vincent, is because me and Amos, who runs the coexistence room, we use the word Kahanis tongue-in-cheek to describe Bibi Kapara and Harry Balzac and those sort of reflexive pro-Israel like extremists. But obviously they are not followers of Meir Kahanas. These are Americans, and the Kahanas movement is an Israeli movement. So we're talking about Israeli sort of reflexive, far-right, pro-Israel people who just attack anyone who disagrees with them.
But didn't Mayor Kahana get his start in the United States? He started the Jewish Defense League?
Yeah. So they're a fringy thing. I have no idea that
What was wrong with the Jewish Defense League? In other words, he was telling Jews not to be a bunch of fucking pussies and to stand up for themselves.
Okay. Okay, so you are honest. You're like a literal.
No, I'm not a Jew. I'm not but I do.
But you like that idea.
He believes in the ideology.
Oh yeah, I think Israel would be a better place if people believed, and followed what he believed.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me clarify then. This room is not about people like you who actually espouse Mayor Kahana's view. They're about Bibi Kapara's room on Clubhouse, who fetishize Charlie Kirk, who we are arguing is a Christian supremacist who actually espouse views that are against Jewish interests. And so that's what we're arguing here.
Is that factual though?
Yes,
we presented some evidence, and I'm not saying it's factual. That's our opinion, and we're presenting this opinion and the evidence we have, and we gave people a chance to respond if they could respond civilly. If you have a different view, I'm open to hearing it.
Sure. I was raised Catholic, so we don't believe that there needs to be a state of Israel. Israel is the church, at least Catholic doctrine. We have our own covenant with God. It doesn't supersede the covenant that God has with Jews. However, we do not believe there has to be a Jewish state in which Jews have to be there warring with the world, and then the rapture is going to happen, and whatever stupid shit that these evangelicals believe. That's so foreign to me. But I'm a Zionist. I mean, they have a country, and just to be fair, it was a shithole. There was nothing there. It's a regional superpower.
Okay, I don't want to get into the history of Israel. I think the topic here, Cleo, and I am interested to hear your views as someone who identifies with the Kahanist ideology or thinks at least it's worthwhile. It serves the Jewish people, at very least, right? I am interested to hear what you think about the fact that Charlie Kirk, whether this sort of recent alliance, since Trump came in office, he sort of courted a lot of white supremacists and Proud Boys and white nationalist groups. It also courted the far-right pro-Israel right and Republican Jewish establishment. And as a result, they're sort of in bed together. And since then, we've seen a lot of alliances between sort of this like far-right, Christian right, white supremacist like personalities and the pro-Israel cause, and we're seeing sort of a lot of collaboration between these two used to be very polarized segments of society.
Sure. So as somebody who's been in more like dissident right-wing circles, a lot of you will call it far right. It doesn't matter. Charlie Kirk has been the butt of jokes, including from people like myself. I'm not going to lie. I've always looked at him as kind of like a tool of the Republican Party, to basically win over young conservatives. Now, I think he's a very gifted individual in terms of his debate tactics. I couldn't do what he did, and most people couldn't. With that being said, I don't think that he was in bed with us. I think that we looked at him as kind of a. And this isn't a fault of his. He was doing his job. But
he was like a shill for the Israeli government, wasn't he?
No.
Or do you think he was an opportunist just trying to get clicks because this is like really good for the algorithm?
No. He's somebody. First of all, there was.
I am curious about how you characterize him as someone who's kind of studied him more than most of us.
Sure. So do I think he was a quote unquote Zionist shill? Yes. But do I think that he was? First of all, I think there's one thing you have to understand is that a lot of these Republicans that are especially evangelical Christians, Baptists, and so forth, they do believe that stuff. That is truly, authentically who they are. I'm not going to knock him for that. Now, I don't. When it comes to him, if you backtrack like 8 years. How this all started, they were, you know who the Groypers are, right? The Nick Fuentes, stands, the followers. Yeah, so in 2016, you would have him and Rob Smith. Rob Smith was a black conservative. He was a veteran, also homosexual. They would be on stage. The Groypers, what they would do is they would line up in the queue to ask questions, and they were very targeted towards Jews. They were targeted towards a lot of people. And of course, they're very, I don't even want to describe the Groypers. They're fucking retards. But they were always fucking with him. And what you've always gotten, I'm somebody who's like spoken a lot with the former leaders of the alt-right, like Jared Spencer. I talked with him quite a bit. When it comes to like quote unquote kosher conservatism, they were not on board with that shit. He was always considered like a normie conservacuck. And I'm somebody who's a Zionist. Like I support Israel. But he's always gotten a lot of shit. But
that's not
at the end of the day, I look at him.
I've already explained this to you a million times.
Well, okay, but hold on a second.
Zionism is that.
I just want to finish. I'll finish with this one. I just want to finish this one point. He's somebody who I think genuinely was. He likely did stand for principles that he actually believed. I've never seen anything racist. He never said anything racist. He never said anything anti-Semitic. And that's why he got bullied from the right. And then, yet at the same time, what's really ironic is that he's being persecuted as this fucking Nazi, this bigot, but he never did that fucking shit. That is what actually is pissing me off the most.
Can we read something? Can we read something to you? Let's read something directly from his words, okay? Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them, Kirk said on the show. The philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in this country. That's one thing.
Post the link. There's one thing Jews aren't going to deny this. There's no shortage of baggy left-wing Jews in the United States. Like, they're a dime a dozen. Like, we can agree on that.
I don't think he's going to agree it's anti-Semitic because the statements...
Zionist Jews are so loud, but there are a lot of liberal Jews.
No, listen, Cleto, I don't think you're going to see it as anti-Semitic, the quotes we're going to give you, because he mainly demonizes left-wing Jews and progressive Jews, and in the way that the pro-Israel right demonizes left-wing Jews. And so I think because you consider the way you identify yourself I think you'll probably think his views are accurate, and left-wing Jews are a threat to society in the way he describes.
Yeah, I would say, Jewish people...
And maybe contributing to their own demise or their own harm or whatever.
Sure, absolutely. I do think
so then I don't know, there's no point in debating it, really, because you kind of espouse the same...
No, I'm saying, I would say the difference is, like, at least you guys are a much smaller portion of the population. I would say Jews are very... I'm just going to say this is very taboo to say, but I would say on average a little bit smarter than white Gentiles, and they
the
tend
eugenics kicking in.
Amazing.
Why didn't he
hold on.
He's a judophile. It's fine. He's a philosomite.
Okay, yeah, philosomite. Amazing.
Wow.
I'm just going off of just like we can just look at the track record between white Gentiles and particular type of Jews, and they, one group is obviously very overrepresented in being successful. I mean,
there's like social external things that contribute to that, though. It
doesn't matter
what contributed.
Sure, it doesn't matter what contributed to that. However, what matters is that they have an oversized contribution. It is what it is. I can't fucking control that. Now, when it comes to
it must be eugenics.
I would say that when it comes.
It's really going off the rails.
But I would say when it comes to the left-wing Jews versus, like, let's say left-wing Gentiles, you're obviously going to have a little bit of an overrepresentation amongst the left-wing Jews, and and they're every bit as obnoxious as the left-wing Gentiles. I don't know how to say this. This is not even me like saying anything negative about Jews, or if anything, it's saying that they tend to be a little bit more. I mean, Buttercup, are you gonna say that they're not on average a little bit more successful than us? I mean, it's common fucking sense.
I mean, I'm Jewish, so
you guys are more. Yes, I do too. But you guys are on average. I'm talking about
some
averages.
of them are on this app. The Kahanis we were referring to are the dumb Jews among us.
But on average,
small-minded and bad at math.
But on average, are Jews not a little bit more successful than white Gentiles? It's an obvious fucking answer. It's yes. It is resounding fucking yes. You don't have to fucking deny it.
I don't want to get into this. This is like a eugenics debate, which I'm not really comfortable.
It's not a eugenics
Actually, I
debate.
think Palestinians are rising, to be honest. Everyone I know who grew up in like a refugee camp in the West Bank and clawed their way out is super, super successful and overeducated. So I don't know.
Some of them can be, just like in Kuwait.
It has to do with history and social context. There's a million things.
But yet the Lebanese are very successful.
They were forced to be money lenders, so of course they had to finance.
I know all that, but even the Lebanese Christians, I would say, are very similar to Jews. Where like wherever they go in the world, they tend to be pretty successful. Sure, there can be context because of
these are external things that shape people.
Sure, that is fine, and that very well could be the case. I'm not even arguing that it's quote unquote genetic. I don't know if the Lebanese Christians are smarter than us.
Let's move on. What's the point? There's a point. What is the point you're trying to
make? My point is that you're like sitting here not wanting to admit that Jewish people, by and large, have been able to, I guess, elevate the ladder and have some of the loudest microphones. They obviously have. Okay. So when I compare lefty Jews to lefty Gentiles, there's obviously a disproportionate amount of Jews that are going to be amongst the most obnoxious lefties. Ezra Klein. I actually listened to Ezra Klein. Like Ezra Klein's a good example. What is there, Pac-Man?
Yes, but also
there's a
on
bunch
the
of
right,
Jews that are doing it.
But wait, also on the right, you have loudmouth Jews that are very
yes.
Shapiro, right? You have
Shapiro. Yes, but I said they're kind of overrepresented. Generally,
more than the right?
No, I'd say both. I would say both. But I said it's kind of like, okay, well, are you making the argument?
What you're trying to make here?
Is the argument that you're trying to make is that Jews just like fucking weasel their way into these positions and only platform each other?
No. There's many social and sociological reasons for why Jews are very, very active in politics. And very active and very vocal.
Which ethnic group is the most active in politics in the United States?
No, it's not a fucking contest. Who gives a shit? What's your point?
Yeah.
No, Jews are. Literally, Jews are.
Okay, but what's your point in the context of whether or not?
Because somebody was trying to sit here and like you guys are trying to make it sound like because some of the loudest leftists are Jewish. Somehow that's anti-Semitic. No, it's not. Like they're overrepresented on the left, like they are on the fucking right. Like I don't.
Right, thank you for sharing your view. Okay, fine. Does anyone else want to speak? Butch, you have any thoughts? Or this new guy with the blue hat? I don't know how to say your name because it's in another language.
What's the topic?
The topic is Charlie Kirk and whether or not he's a bigot.
Do you think Hamas would have spared raping? I don't know. You could be an ugly bitch, but do you think Hamas would have spared raping you for killing you?
Oh my God.
As someone who could
Where did that come
potentially
from?
That was
Christ.
as someone who could have been potentially one of the people on October 7th, I'll tell you that no, that we're not about that.
I think Hamas would tolerate Nora.
That's what Pepe does when he loses an argument.
Pepe thinks like we're
Why did it go into rape? Like that was such a turn. Jesus Christ.
And he's trying to
He's a Gentile cup.
We're Islamists, we're Muslims, we're not Christians. Like they went in Bosnia and they started raping the Muslims there. We're not like that. We don't do what Christians.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. This was like a weird.
Yeah, his first instinct.
Yeah.
His first
Yeah.
instinct is just to talk shit.
Tell me about you. Who are you? I don't know you.
But yeah, yeah. So I had to top it by saying like, yo, as a Muslim, like I don't support the killing of Charlie Kirk and
I don't either, of course not.
And even though this guy was someone who talks shit about Muslims, he talks shit about Islam quite often. I think even his most recent tweet, even he had a debate recently just completely shitting on Muslims, you know. No, I just, you know, I don't agree, you know, with so, you know, just like I still, you know, the loss of a life is still like a loss of a life, you know, so all life is precious type thing. But yeah, it's just, you know, so, and here's the thing though, here's another thing.
Way about Gaza. He didn't feel that way about what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah, I know. He just because he didn't feel like that, we don't have to, you know, type thing. But I would say another thing is like when you look at the population of Muslims in America, it's only 1%. You know, so why are like, you know,
so yeah, why is he writing
guys like Kitover? Yeah, why are they even like what are they like so threatened about? Like, what, like you know, I understand maybe. Yeah, I'd understand maybe Europeans, you know, complaining about Muslims or whatever, but like literally, why would like as an American, like what do you have like to like really stand on, you know? So that's kind of like.
Maybe
and actually, white terrorists have caused way more harm to our country than Muslims overall. I mean, most terrorists in our country are homegrown.
I'll blame the left for that.
No, but they're right wing. They're mostly right. A lot of them are right.
You mean domestic terrorists? Like domestic?
Yeah,
terrorists?
I mean most like mass murders and shootings and hate, like fueled by hatred and hate crimes are fueled by white bloner types, right? In America.
That Cleto guy ran out the room, man.
I think that's what the FBI said. He said
He doesn't want to get clipped again.
The FBI said the number one threat is not terrorism; it's like white incels.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I noticed something about that Pepe individual. Like this guy, he when it comes to like Muslims, like he's ready to attack Muslims and talk shit about them. But when it comes to Jews, like he's very hesitant. Like I noticed that he doesn't like. He really watches his words. And he's very careful about what he says.
Yeah, it's the same thing Kirk did. It's the same thing a lot of these white supremacists do. They want to align themselves with allies over the sentiments of Islamophobia as well as anti-blackness for power or some semblance of power. And we see it on the macrocosm with Charles Kirk. We also see it on the microcosm with the Pepes, the BBs, the Harrys. So, as well as the Abbeys and the Pepes, they love each other. They go crazy for each other.
There's also
there was like a weird a men's rightsy incel vibe there with Pepe. He immediately went to whether I'm not hot enough to rape. Like that's a strange.
That was sick.
That was disgusting. He seemed reasonable, and then suddenly it sounded psychotic.
I hope John Kitover caught that one. Don't do that, John.
That's Pepe. He's like the radio show guy, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess so.
He's Latino?
I don't know. He just said he's Catholic. Is he Latino?
Yeah, he's probably Latino. He's probably one of those no sabos.
Cauliflower, tell me about you. Where do you fall in this whole thing?
So I feel nothing for this person,
Charlie Kirk,
who was shot. Yeah, I mean, it was really weird. I felt a little bit, like I questioned myself briefly, like, is something wrong with me? Because I had watched the video and I was eating my lunch, while this happened, and like I just left it on the Instagram loop. I was like, I just couldn't kind of stop watching it. It was really weird. I was like, am I a psychopath or what?
It looks like a movie. I mean, it doesn't look real.
Yeah, I tried to get myself to feel bad for the guy, but I just fucking can't.
I don't know. I feel bad for him, for his family. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to cause him pain. I'm a little traumatized just by the amount of gore we see on the news these days. You know?
Well, okay, look, we've been seeing all kinds of stuff happen to immigrants, to people in war, people in Gaza, people, and it's just kind of like when you see something like this, it's like, yeah, because, they've been doing it to other people, so, but I think my biggest concern is they're going to want their lick back.
Yeah.
One minute he was talking about gun control, and then he gets shot in the neck with a gun. I mean, you can't make this stuff.
Yeah, but he said, what did he say? It's worth it, or something like that.
He said that gang violence. So he was defending gun violence, and then he died.
Somebody shot him. Yeah, the last words he ever said was gang violence. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
The guy says, what do you think about the mass shootings? He's all, what about the gang violence? Bang, he's dead.
Well, you know.
He was a gang member?
Well, it's people like Charles Kirk that overblow statistics and overblow certain things in certain communities to push an agenda, right? So he's going to overblow gang violence, even though black on black crime is 12,000 people a year. And so that's way under, that's a point percentage of the actual African Americans, the 40 million that are in the United States. So this is not something that's plaguing us. This is 12,000 people a year, right? And this is something that we can work together on as Americans to quell over time. President Trump's doing it in his own way, which, I somewhat support, sending in troops. And it's proven to work in Washington, D.C., you know what I mean? Amongst other things, I think there's other things that we could do to cut that number down. But what these anti-black people do is they overblow the statistics. Like, this is just plaguing the black community, right? And they rely on how people view us in mainstream media to push that narrative as well. When white people overrepresent themselves in online pedophilia, and child sex trafficking. And sex trafficking has become the number 2 illegal operation in the United States.
All right,
So,
this is like veering into anti-white, like, you know.
No. I'm saying that they
They're
overblow.
overrepresented. Like, let's not like smear anyone, generalize about anyone.
No, these are statistics. These are .gov statistics.
You're doing the same thing he's doing.
No, we're doing the same thing they accuse us.
No, but this is what I'm saying. If 12,000 people are
this is what Charlie Kirk said about us, that we smear white
if
people.
12,000 people die from black on black crime a year, right? But if we go over to child trafficking, that affects 300,000 to 600,000 kids a year. So then what I'm saying is they overblow these black statistics to push anti-black agendas, and Charlie Kirk has been doing that for the past few years, but he's been taking it to the max for the past week.
Yeah, the guy was a real pain in the neck.
What do you
Oh my God.
What do you guys think triggered it?
Who do you think is recording my room? Is that John? Is that
Yeah, he literally has a room right now called Buttercup 2.0, calling Charlie Kirk and Jews Nazis.
Who's that?
Stupid. What?
No, it's John Kitover, and it's in the house called Amir Terrorist Call FBI.
Oh my god.
That was like a fucking shit show.
Is that Amir's room?
No, this is John Kitover.
How does he juggle so many accounts at once? I don't get it.
He has 57 phones. He has 57 phones.
How? How does he
57 accounts.
time? Who pays him? Like, how does he get money?
He's crazy. He's literally crazy.
Guys, I have a question. Okay, first, well, maybe 2 questions. But first, what do you think was the straw that broke the camel's back for when it came to Charlie Kirk? And then number 2 is like, who do you guys think is next?
What do you mean? What caused
Who
someone
do
to
you
shoot
guys
him?
think is next?
I mean, you think it's gonna stop here?
I don't think he caused his own death. First of all, no one deserves to get shot. I don't believe in vigilante justice.
It was only a matter of time, honestly. I'm surprised, like, how far this guy got, like, because I know
Do they have a suspect yet?
What I'm waiting on to pass any judgment.
That's what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah.
They've been released already, so I don't know what's going
They had 2 suspects, I think, and they released both of them. They don't know who did it.
Well, Utah has the most white people per capita. And then so if we go to white people, they do the most mass shootings per capita. So it's statistically conducive for it to happen in Utah.
Vincent, you're like obsessed with me. I don't even think I've had one conversation with this guy, and he's fucking obsessed with me. Is Vincent someone else? Does anyone know who Vincent is?
He's like this black convert. He's now Jewish now. I don't know what's up with him. But he's a Zionist, obviously, because I don't know.
Vincent, I think you might have a wrong impression of me. I engage with Jews because they're my people, and I think I want to have a dialogue with them, okay? I'm not trying to defame you or anybody. I just feel that, I have a different opinion about Gaza and the Israel-Palestine conflict, and I feel the need to vent my frustration and engage with Jewish people who have a different view. That's all, okay?
He's a chat warrior. He does this in every room. Like, he never comes up. He never hears voice. He never hears intellect. He's just a chat warrior.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Do I need to push the limit? I'll push the limit on this guy. Like, at the end of the day, the left is an alliance. So if you've been in American university, yeah, you understand. Yes, exactly. So we are an alliance, and so this guy literally went against Islam, advocated for, pretty much like, destroying us, and destroying our ideology and outlawing us. And, so he wasn't subtle, at least when it came down to Islam and Muslims. Deport all Muslims anyways. So, from that perspective, yeah, fuck him, obviously. So I don't give a crap about him. Like, he put himself against Islam and Muslims for some sort of like global agenda and a crusader agenda, and he paid the price. So I don't know. Just in case, it might be one of us. I don't know. It could be. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. But maybe. Could be one of us. But like, so before, if it turns out to be one of us, like he there's a weight behind your words, so words do matter. And, you're going to declare yourself an open threat. Like, sure. Is it against the law? Absolutely. It's illegal. No one should go against anybody. You're going to get persecuted.
Against murder in this room, just to be clear, we're against murder. We just think it's sad that pro-Israel Jews align themselves with this Nazi.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen like that.
It's emblematic of a larger problem, which is that right-wing Jews, because these supremacist right-wing characters vilify and demonize the left-wing and especially left-wing Jews, and the right-wing, the Kahanists, which are the sort of pro-Israel right, they also demonize left-wing Jews in the same way, in this vitriolic, horrific way. And also, and then Charlie Kirk did. So we have Nazis and right-wing establishment and Kahanists on this app, which again is not referring to literal Kahanists. It's the Bibi Kapara and company and the folks that are in the audience. All vilify people in my community, people like me, left-wing Jews, people who are for equal rights, people who, espouse mainstream Jewish liberal ideals. And they vilify us, they make us seem like we're the root of all evil. They call me names on this app every single day. And they're just falling into the same trap of like hatred and exclusion and bigotry.
Buttercup, you always know the right is always going to start going into like, they're going to attack identity, and they're always going to, if you're black, they're going to attack you, and they're going to bring up your demographics. If you're white, they're going to do this. If you're Jewish, they're going to do. If you're Middle Eastern, they're going to do this. So you know how they do it. Like, this is just the general way of the right in America. They come after you. They usually tackle your race or your identity, and they attack that.
Yeah.
So
I guess to me it's personal because I feel like my people have like bought in this hateful ideology, hook, line, and sinker. They've really, really embraced Charlie Kirk. Israelis, especially, that I'm friendly with, would send me his clips, not knowing the context at all. They only know him for his pro-Israel sort of rants. And they don't know what he stands for. And it really just breaks my heart that he's like torn my community apart, that he's hijacked like half of my community, and they don't know that they're aligning themselves with people who espouse hateful things that ultimately will come for them one day,
Can I ask a question, Buttercup?
Yeah, of course.
If you don't mind.
Of course.
What's the difference between a left-wing Jew and a right-wing Jew? I thought we were all right-wing. We're the God's chosen people.
Are you Jewish?
Chosen people. Of course I'm Jewish.
And you think we're all right-wing? Did you live in America?
How could you be on our left wing and have other religions and other people, but be under the,
Is this a real person?
God?
Do you guys know this guy?
Could
I mean,
so far he said some. Clearly, he's witty.
So, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but I understand that because of Israel and a lot of Jews, their identities are linked with Israel. they vote they veer to the right because they think that Republican Party better represents Israel's interests.
Well, Trump loves us, yes. We should
Israel, you mean? He doesn't love us. He loves Israel. I mean, he doesn't love Israel even. He just is good at pandering to Jews and making them think that he's like Israel's best friend, right?
He's doing a good job.
I don't know. It's not looking very good for anybody over there. Just saying. A lot of people are dying. Kids are dying.
Yeah, Yahoo just bought Iran. Thank you. Thanks, Trump.
Who is this guy? Is this a real person? This is not a real person.
That might be Norm.
What am I dealing
That might
with?
be Norm.
And there's like
I'm like Norm.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Norm,
He's
is that
terrible.
We had another show on here that was making with the same exact voice. I moved them down too, but they had another. It was like Buttercup, but like Butch Buttercup.
I'm loving the Buttercup.
You got me for like a second.
I'm loving the Buttercup PTRs they got going on.
But yeah, it's
Angry.
oh yeah, those guys.
It's cute.
Wait.
It's like
Somebody was talking about Hassan Piker earlier. The Korean person, the person with the Korean name. They were saying that Hassan Piker actually witnessed this live, watched it live. Yeah, 'cause, you know, he's like a street. Do you guys know who Hassan Piker is?
yeah, of course. I love that song.
Okay.
But I don't think it should happen like this. You know, we're in America, free speech. The guy offered himself to be debated. You know what I mean? College to college.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, it could have been a thing where he like only showed the debates that he won. You know, who knows? You know how he marketed.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
I found.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, this is not good for our democracy. It's not good for our politics. I'm the kind of person where I feel like I can defeat anyone intellectually. And he offered himself to intellectually spar with many people. Like, that was his whole brand.
I mean, he has his ass handed to him quite a few times.
Yeah, so I feel like to resort to...
But they don't promote those clips, right?
Yeah. I feel like to resort to it, it's kind of the coward's way. Even if I feel like he's anti-black, even if I feel like he's...
Every clip I've seen, he didn't really engage on the issues. He was just snarky. He was like a norm character, you know?
I just feel like, you know, we could have defeated him intellectually. We could have defeated him in other ways. And played chess.
Of course. No, we should never endorse violence.
No. I've already discussed with Pepe a lot. Like, if you break him, if you break him down to the ideals, like if you go, you'll see that he will align with the ideals. So if
we're talking about Pepe,
Pepe is like a leftist in ideals, but like he's just like someone who is.
I was talking about Kurt.
He's a
I was talking about
I
Kurt.
thought you were talking about Kurt.
Yeah, I was talking about Kurt, but maybe he's talking about Pepe.
Oh, Kirk is a wasp. Like
seems like he broke at some point in this conversation.
They're all wasps. It's just like white guys who are usually on the right are usually wasps, and at different degrees will advocate the extremism. The extremists will advocate for like a wasp state, and you'll see those are the ones who are obsessed with like Jews and Zionists. So those kind of wasps were practically like, you know, Nazis at that point.
They're all mad at the mainstream media right now. They feel like they're not getting any love from the mainstream media. They feel like everything is promoting like interracial marriages. They feel like they're being like whited out. They feel like their racial stock amongst the world is dwindling. They're so used to having this semblance of white power that they're starting to get worried. You know, they're mad at like the internet and TikTok, which is why they're trying to ban it. They're mad that like all this BIPOC indigenous sovereignty and remembrance is happening amongst the people, and you know, they're scrambling right now. They're scrambling, you know.
Yeah, they're scrambling because there's a reason they are scrambling, because the demographics are gonna flip in America. Like, we're talking, you gotta be honest. People, you know, people, the right and the left in America, they are represented based on like racial lines. There's a racial correlation to the left and the right in America. And
Yeah.
just if one demographic grows, the left also grows. We're reaching a tipping point. Latinos are going to be the majority demographic by 2070. And so that's why that could explain a lot of the new like ICE policies.
So Kirk,
Ustad, real quick. Ustad, what were you saying about Hassan Piker earlier? Or we can table it. I just wanted to let him know that I wanted to ask, about Hassan Piker. But yeah, I'll if you want to keep going.
I just want
Let's change the topic. Let's talk about Hassan Piker. What about him?
Yeah, so apparently he was watching the shooting live. Like he didn't know it was gonna happen. He was just watching it live, and he had obviously a horrific reaction to it. And he said like he was urging his followers not to make fun of the shooting or the death of Charlie Kirk, because he said, this is terrible and stuff like that. And he also felt like that he might be next.
Did you see this video? Yeah, because they're gonna want their like. Did you see the video of Hassan reacting?
No. It was. I was watching Kyle from Secular Talk, and he was talking about it. So, but I think the video is out there. It's not sure hard to find, but yeah.
Hassan Piker isn't stupid. He's not gonna go in the middle of a university and set himself up. Like he would have probably gotten shot long before Kirk did. Honestly,
Kirk, like I said, Kirk represented their white knight. He was the one that's supposed to go to the universities and galvanize the youth and fight and push back on leftist ideology that seemed to be spreading faster in these institutions of higher education. Why? Because they're learning the truth of the world.
Not only that.
Not really. They're losing, dude.
His purpose is also to thwart the young people or youth from accepting the ideology of Nick Fuentes. Like Nick Fuentes is like somebody who's rising, becoming extremely popular among among young people.
Well, also like the leftist ideologies, right? Like white people are seeing their children radicalize and support pro-Palestinian agendas in record numbers right now, similar to when the Black Panthers linked up with the white kids at the universities and became anti-war during that time. And we all know that once that happened, that's when the U.S. government started going after the Black Panthers and locking them up until this very day. I think a Black Panther just got out like 6 months ago. So they're really worried. They're scrambling, and they needed people like Kirk to go and galvanize the youth, get them back on board with conservative agendas, right-wing agendas, and he was their white knight.
Yeah. One interesting thing about Kirk is that
I'm sorry, but someone was kind enough to post in the chat. Free Palestine posted in the chat the actual video of him saying the anti-Semitic stuff that we're trying to demonstrate, he said. Is it okay if I play it real quick?
Yes.
Okay. So here's...
They went all Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true, the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Cobham. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. The part that, so that's totally true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to it was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens. We have Candace Owens coming up next hour. And Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us. We were on top of it. We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country. Jewish community.
All right, so that's the clip of him blaming Jews for Marxism, blaming Jews for financing, lefty causes, and just sort of like drawing this like vast conspiracy of
further putting you all in danger. Yeah, I think that's what that's doing as well.
He's generalizing. Listen, I'm not saying there aren't influential Jews who are money. There's George Soroses who have influence and money, but there's to attribute that much power. Well, here's another one.
To do, and Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like, time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
Okay. So I think that's pretty explicit. These are like, if you're not like trained in recognizing anti-Semitic tropes, this is the classic anti-Semitic tropes about moneyed Jews controlling everything and having too much power and driving political trends.
I don't think he was speaking I think he was speaking as an ally. He was
as an ally to the right-wing Jews, but he was demonizing the left-wing Jews, which is the majority of Jews in America. So it sounded like
he was speaking to all Jews and he was giving them advice. He was like, you guys need to stop, something like that,
Right. I think he was saying stop the left-wing powerful Jews, right? Like the influential left-wing Jews.
Well, he never said left or right-wing. That's his problem. That's the issue.
He said the donors. He kept talking about the donors, and whenever people talk about George Soros, yes, he's an influential left-wing Jew, but like people usually he's a stand-in for like Jewish influence, Jewish money, Jewish power.
I think which is a usual talking point, is that you are seeing behind a lot of the organizations that are for inclusion and minority advocate like organizations, that you will usually see big Jewish sponsors, if not themselves being run by liberal Jews. So that's usually what it is, and that he sees these inclusion and minority advocate organizations or migration or immigrant organizations as anti-white organizations. That's just how he sees it.
I think HASC is one of them. HASC was like a Jewish, it was like a refugee, it supports immigrants basically. And it's when they blame the white replacement theory people blame on Jews. They say, because they support immigrants, they're trying to replace us, and that's why Jews are responsible for this white replacement or whatever.
And how did they justify this? Because they use Zionism. So you're like, all you Jews, you're advocates of Zionism, right? So it's like, if Zionism, you're preserving a Jewish ethno-state by controlling the demographics in the region. So why so we have legitimacy here. So what we're advocating for has legitimacy. So the right in America is getting away with advocating for these policies and like what you're seeing today with ICE, because they can like corner Jews in America with Zionism.
Right. I mean, they're trying to sort of weaponize Zionism. They're like, if you're a true Zionist, you won't join these lefty causes. Basically, they're trying to manipulate.
Exactly.
They're basically saying, like Trump has said it too. He's basically saying like he's made statements like, Jews who don't support Israel, Jews who don't support who don't support him basically are endangering themselves. Anyone who doesn't support Trump is endangering themselves. They're not looking out for themselves because they don't support. That means they don't support Israel by proxy. And this is like a talking point on the far right, basically.
Yeah. Actually, I would say it's one of their main angles.
And it's interesting. People accuse Jews of like being too influential. I think Jews are being influenced and exploited by this sort of like the divisive political forces, right? They're being manipulated and hijacked by these like far right people who say, who are exploiting their loyalty to Israel and their fealty to the Israeli government. And putting them in bed with people who actually hate them,
There can't be the problem, and I'll tell you, especially with the leftist Jews, like it's too late in the game for you to be caught and frozen like a deer in front of headlights when someone puts you in when someone on the right asks you about Zionism. Your position should be very clear. We don't need to be educating you on what Zionism is. We don't need to be educating you on what's going on in Palestine or the Greater Project or the War on Terror. Like none of this. It's too late in the game for you as someone on the left to not be aware of this and aware of what's going on when it comes down to this conflict. And our greater doings as America and our foreign policy in the wars since 9/11, even before, so we got to be clear. And as a generation, there is no reason for ignorance. We have social media. Everything's accessible. So, you can't be on the left and be ignorant at this point. Your position should be clear. What you're advocating for should be clear.
Yeah.
And that's a problem with a lot of leftist Jews. Like, the right comes in, blah, Israel. And then they're like, that's not going to work.
Listen, I think a lot of Jews are conflicted about Israel, and I don't it's a tough thing, right? Like, I don't know if my positions are pure, and we're always like put on this purity test. Like, are you anti-Israel enough to like hang with us liberals, And the fact is, like, I think, I don't know if I've discussed it with you, but I've talked to in Amir's room about it, is our feelings are complicated, Like, a lot of American Jews are especially those who have Eastern European or European ancestry, are just here by an accident of fate. Like, we could have ended up in Israel because we were all refugees at one point, And so for many of us, even if we're harsh critics of the Israeli government, and even if we see what's happening there as a genocide, it's really, really hard to, I think we need to,
Let's say 1947, 1948, establishment of the Jews. It happened.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It was bad, circumstances, desperate circumstances, let's move on. But the thing is, today, do we want to continue in the same mindset, or do we understand that those were circumstances and they were bad circumstances, and we should not be advocating for those circumstances? That's where we're at today.
I mean, personally, I moved in a direction that makes some Jewish people uncomfortable, clearly, especially on this app. But but there's also there has been movement. I think there's a young generation that is really disillusioned by the narratives we've been fed. I can only speak for American Jews. The Israeli Jews have a very different experience, but a lot of us who were raised Zionists grew up and met Palestinians, usually in college, and heard the other side of the story, and just were extremely disillusioned by some of these talking points that were really shallow and thoroughly unconvincing. and just not coherent. And so, like, anyone who's like intelligent and can think for themselves is just feels lied to. They feel like they lied to us, and so there's just like a real disillusionment, I think, in my generation. But I think it's hard because we have, you know, I love people who are Zionists who have views that I even find abhorrent, and it's very hard for me to talk to them about this topic because they're my family and I don't want to fight with them. And I think that's where the conflict is. And so it's like it's hard when people on the left kind of give us these purity tests, these litmus tests, if we're liberal enough, or if we meet the requirements. Like I feel like I get more respect in Amir's room, but they too also test to make sure I'm anti-Zionist in the right ways, you know. And it's fine, and I'm fine with it. I can handle it, but like, you know, it's a tough time right now. I understand.
Mindset to be hardwired. It was just for us to make sure it's hardwired. Eventually, I think he was that clear confession out of you. So otherwise,
using the J word.
No, this is not necessarily even about like how it's about the principle, the idea. Like, we don't believe in ethno states. We believe that if there is any sort of diversity of demographics in any place, everybody should have equal rights. And you know, whether that's in Israel or
not everyone Palestine person believes that. Some people do believe in an ethno state, but they think it should be a Palestinian state. Some people do want to be Jews.
Palestine is a national identity.
But they do want people. So like, there are people who feel that strongly. They're not a monolith for Palestine.
I'm talking about American Palestinians. I'm talking about like the left in America, not like immigrants or people who are just showing up on the scene.
I don't think the left in America is a monolith either. And this is something the pro-Israel people try to paint them as, is this like virulently anti-Semitic, monolith, like hateful people. I think there's like a wide range of people on the left who have different views, and we've created a big tent. And I think it's really powerful. And I don't like that like Jewish people on the left are always put through these like purity tests when like the fact is we're fractured and we need to unite under the
normal society. His mom, who kind of started this whole journey,
like
he ended up starting tweaking. So he started.
How do you beat the murder case with his grandmother?
He was a juvie.
Oh shit! How old was he when he did that?
Like persecuted
like 14. I didn't see what I heard. She was looking for some LED lights.
So being a leftist is being anti-imperial.
So
you know,
he ended up getting out.
Imperial capitalism. So there's a greater struggle.
Let's get to the point. What's the specific thing around with Jews that are allies on the left?
So in my theory, Europe like 6 foot something.
Just as we would condemn what imperialism is done in Latin America.
Are you talking specifically? Is my position not clear to you?
And I know El Normo will know this reference. You guys might know it if you know your positions. But El Normo, you remember the film?
Jews in general are not clear about their positions when they
the leftist.
Goddamn, now I forgot the name. Silence of the Lambs.
It's too late.
That was about a serial killer who was like a tranny weirdo guy. Like he fucking insane people's thighs.
There's something called like
wearing wigs and shit.
I thought they made that a boat.
On the left have sort of
Hannibal Lecter was
there's huge contradictions in it.
Prison who was given the
Fundamentally, they're in
FBI
conflict,
clue
being a Zionist
to
and
find
being a liberal.
him.
There's tension between these things. And so people who are always trying to thread the needle start to come up with these like really absurd logical conclusions, right? But I don't think that's the majority of lefty Jews in America. I think liberal Jews in America, for the most part, see what's happening with the occupation of Iran and Cremona and something that needs to end. And it's not sustainable for Jewish safety or for Palestinians. While still having empathy for the Israeli people and Jewish people, right? And I think, I don't know if this is what you're getting at, but maybe you're talking about liberal Zionists, which are a certain segment of Israel
He's a psychopathic cannibal. You know what I mean?
Which they think they're moderates.
No, yeah, my mom used to make me watch them motherfuckers when I was a kid, bro.
Zionist Jews.
I grew up watching them.
They identify as liberal, and they think it's compatible with their values.
Psychological
With their,
you know
with
what
their
I
pro-Israel.
was
No, this is an American phenomenon. Maybe you're not familiar with it. But like my family, there's liberals, but they also are Zionists, right?
and put him in like a
medieval
times. If you had a serial killer with a 2-something IQ,
No, they can't, and that's why they're ending up twisting themselves into knots, trying to make it all fit together.
So these are the ones that
Put Ted Bundy in and he'd go crazy.
There's a historical precedent for that. You look up the serial killer, probably the first prominent serial killer.
He pulls out the
Shields of Light,
Jewish
French one, GILL.
Yes, every time he says something controversial that might seem like white supremacy,
Shield of Light.
That's what Charlie Kirk does.
Yeah. There's a novel about him by Joris Carl Wismar, a French novelist, but Shield of Light. That motherfucker was crazy, and he was really medieval because he was looking for like,
you guys know what I'm talking about?
Like the Fountain of Youth or some shit like that. Like he was going wild.
Right? Like think about like some of the like normal people, you know, and like imagine if they were in like if they had actual use cases for him. Like he probably would have been a great warlord if he wasn't such a sicko.
He was a warlord, and then
I'm talking about like Kipper or something. Like, 6 foot, you know what I'm saying?
Like Benny, I'm gonna say the same thing I said to Mikhail. Like I understand that.
Well, if you look
Charlie
into him,
Kirk's
you'll see what he got away
theories
with.
about Jews are very luring
he was
to
a part
you,
of the
but don't get
military at the
sucked
time.
into it
He was a
because
marquis.
that's not the conversation here.
Like he went off. He was trying to find like the
Wait, who was Edwin Kemper?
There are Palestinians that watch Palestine.
Yeah, that's who Theophrastus is talking about.
And there are
Palestinians. He was a big, goofy serial killer.
This is why the anti-Israel.
That's the same dude. He's still alive.
So
he's like 78.
It's even amongst just the Palestinian portion of it. There are
different theories.
The people
who called mine hunters.
Yeah, mine hunters.
Y'all hear what I said? He's still alive.
I'm not supposed to spell that.
Is he free or is he alive?
He locked up.
I never know. They keep him alive.
How many times did they? How many people did he kill?
But that does exist.
He started killing college girls, bro. He started.
No, but that does exist. Don't deny that. I know you're firmly on the Islamic portion of this.
Mainstream, a lot of people was just like, oh, be hitchhikers. I don't know what in their brain to say, hey, since we're free, let's
I know that that's your
start hitchhiking. Niggas like, yeah, Ted Bundy was just spraying on them and shit.
It's not a fallacy.
And then killed his mom at the end, bro. He killed his mom. Is a freaky.
Anyway,
That's not very hand up. Everybody deserves shit.
This does exist.
What did he fucking face?
That's not even getting at the Americans trolling about the American benefits of the free market. But they are different kinds of people in America. Right-wing anti-Semite, KKK, white. Was it hitchhiking a thing? Along with base from Palestine. So there's a broad coalition of people that are generally anti-Israel, and they don't agree on a lot of things. This is why I think, personally, I don't think that Americans in general should be I think they should just they should just concede that we shouldn't have a generally, I don't know.
Let's hear from you. I want to hear an alternative view that you guys shut me down and talk to me.
You a film director?
Yes.
Or the one with Becky
Film and television. I never know that. That's crazy.
I was born in Jerusalem. You came from USSR, so the experiments. My question is to you: what do you think about foreign aid to Israel? A strategic partnership?
Israel is a partner of the United States. People in Israel got to understand something. The number one enemy to the people of Israel are American Jews that do not support Israel and do not support America.
They do some comedy. They do some paranormal stuff.
The biggest single enemy to the Jewish people are not the Islamic supremacists. The biggest enemy you have is inside the wire. Progressive Jewish billionaires that are funding all this stuff.
No, I was
They are the number one enemy. And the people of Israel got to set that right. Because American has your back,
serial killer
have your back, evangelical Christians have your back,
we ain't seen
all have your back. Jewish people, I gotta tell you, the enemy inside the wire.
I feel like technology is so important. That's why we have a decrease in like active serial killers. It's not like the profile. As they don't get inside, it's like
At the end of the clip,
the opportunities and assistance when you suicide. I feel like it's serious. This is something that I agree.
But like, I think Jewish people find that
Like, at least in America, I can't speak for other countries. I don't know if they exist in other countries to the frequency that you hear.
I'm your friend, and that's why I'm looking out for you by vilifying all
There's
the
like
people
a
who disagree.
mass proliferation of serial
Like
killers.
he's not even vilifying
Did y'all
liberals.
not find
He's
that
demonizing
phenomenon
specifically
like
liberal Jews, and it's interesting.
Like, why is that?
The things that they say are the same thing that people far right Olive in the audience. The same things they say about me is what these anti-Semites say about liberals.
You have a high level of serial killers, and you just have a high level of violence in general in America, like as opposed to maybe some Western European countries where you don't have a high murder rate the way we do. The race of more than higher. It's like really high for a Western developed nation in America. Overshadows everything you can do in Britain or France to say that never sweet.
I don't know that he gets
But it has a lot to do with
his Zionist classes. He gives to other
knowing what's possible here, knowing what you can achieve here, whether it's becoming a playboy or a millionaire.
I'm not a Zionist, and again, for criticizing Israeli government and its policies. Why did you assume that his opposition to certain Israeli policies has led to criticism from pro-Israel groups and accusations of anti-Zionism of figures like Antage Dershowitz? He's been the target of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, often complaining support for products and causes of anti-Semitic tropes.
It does lead to frustration. The remedy to it is to teach people that you can use your mind to achieve those things. Education system in America is to teach people that's why you have shit like what happened to Nation. That's why you have shit like what happened to the Ukrainian lady.
Right wing. And then his short story is actually precisely what he's talking about. So no rational sense talking about.
If anything, Barcelona's
Cyrus is like very progressive and right-wing. Someone had to do it. It's the opposite. The AOC. What's her name? She's like, yeah. Because she donates to the pro-Israel folks. I think you're confused by that. I'm not saying how cool that, but he was in socialist discussing personal beliefs.
Just like race wars.
Just like you're saying, this is precisely what I'm hearing say, Domino's, Jewish donors, conspiracy theorists, philanthropists. He's literally talking about George Soros. He's not only that. So we make it sound like this vast conspiracy of like liberal, powerful, influential Jewish billionaires. It's literally just George Soros. And that's the crazy thing. It's making it seem like, oh, we control everything. But do you want to fucking die? Like, Jesus Christ.
He's capable. That's what I'm saying. Too sweet. I think we're too entrenched in our own lives. Our conditions are too sweet. We're too. We have so much prosperity. We don't got to worry about invaders. We don't have to worry about like. We're in a very comfortable place as Americans. Even if you don't like a certain demographic, you can move to fucking Utah. You can move to goddamn
you just assume,
Wyoming.
I don't know,
And Americans are not getting their quality of life.
The last leftist
standard of living from doing
John Stewart.
Their standard of living from working hard,
So, but then he resurfaced
doing overtime.
Exactly, bro. It's just too sweet. Imagine turning to a revolution where you just live your hobby, like I love working on cars. I'm just saying that I don't work on cars. I'm just saying, I'm working on a car before you
He's back
He's still
now.
around. He's in the
He's finally
Exactly.
back.
So like,
He's finally back.
I think the only way that we'll truly get revolution is like
He's helping
it
us.
has to be like political collapse plus economic collapse.
You
That's the
see,
only
like,
way you're gonna
Jews that are Americans in politics, like, they're always pretty bad. Right, or they're so
Bernie
right.
Sanders is a Providence pro-Palestinian Jew.
He wants there to be a Jewish state.
Yeah, hopefully it never makes sense. Turn USA's through these federal societies, through these memes.
The only way
Bernie Sanders is super Zionist, though. He's like, he uses that very, very harsh language.
you have to look at the critical of the state of Israel, especially
And he doesn't sugarcoat it at all. He's calling for boycotts, which most people sneer as anti-Semitic.
Israel believes that. Israel
That's the thing. So that's the purity test I'm talking about. There are people who, I have like this radical idea of a binational state that no one ever really floated, or this is fucking nuts, right? I can't explain that.
the idea of the idea of a binational
Yeah, but we've gone farthest with the two-state solution, right? And so people, when they hear a binational state, they're like, "What? They're gonna kill us?" You know, both sides say they're gonna kill us, and so it's considered kind of a kumbaya radical idea that no one's really fleshed out very well. So yeah, I have this idea that I'm not the mainstream, even among Jews who are critical of Israel and Palestine.
More money, more
I don't know.
the reason is
it's just too
America's on paper.
They were really on some suicidal shit like
So and even within Israel, the leftists within Israel's labor coalition, and stuff like that. I mean, it just means that it's all in the 80s. They were so because they were the Palestinians. They were and I don't know what somebody said earlier. He was more inclined towards eventually whatever, like, I don't know. I think you probably just not exactly. No, not exactly. I don't know. Like, put this shit out there.
Question. Mikhail Medvedev is being for a two-state solution being a Zionist because you support the state of Israel.
Because of our digital technology.
So I think Bernie Sanders supports a two-state solution, like most progressive liberal Jews. That's what most
willing to accept yes was obviously the it is what it is. Not to believe that Israel has a right to exist in a Jewish state. He just accepts it as a reality ground.
Right.
To be a Zionist is to believe that someone that the state of Israel has a right to exist as a
Jewish state.
A two-state solution means there's a Jewish state besides a Palestinian state. That's what a two-state solution is. That they get to
Yeah, and whether you approach it from the line of, this is a reality that we have to accept. Or this is fundamental and like inalienable right to Jewish people.
So by the same token,
It's not the same thing.
that's the kind of Zionist that Bernie Sanders is. He believes in a two-state solution.
I don't know on what basis he believes that.
You already cast him as like a Zionist, and that's irredeemable.
I'm pretty sure he has said it before.
That Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish state, as a two-state solution. That doesn't mean to the exclusion of Palestinians. That doesn't mean to the exclusion of.
I never said to the inclusion of
And a two-state solution.
Bernie Sanders has always pleased the getaway artist.
Sorry, guys.
That's what pisses me off about this whole.
I'm pretty sure Bernie Sanders is totally certain
that this ain't gonna compare right now.
He hasn't been hard pressed on Zionism.
Because a motherfucker has a strong opinion, I don't care if it makes him comfortable. You gotta like,
and how you make it a state. So he hasn't been hard pressed on
The mainstream view for progressives who support Palestinian rights is a two-state solution. That's mainstream. Widespread view. Okay? That's what he believes. Whether you label him a Zionist or not a Zionist or an anti-Zionist is irrelevant. What he believes is the same thing that Arafat believes. Okay? Two states beside each other.
I have a direct quote from you.
He opposes an Palestinian state. He never said that.
No, hold on. Direct quote from him. Do I think Israel has a right to exist? I don't think Yasser Arafat would ever say that Israel has a right to exist. He would willingly accept that Israel does exist, and that's a reality on the ground. I can't change that, but do they have a right to exist?
It does exist.
There's a difference.
Who cares? You're doing the same dumb litmus test that pro-Israel do, right? That the Zionists do. Does it have a right to exist? It's a red herring. It doesn't matter. It's a way to trick people. It's to trap people, to try to get them to pick a side. It doesn't mean anything. Who cares? No one has a right to exist, right? People just exist. It's not a real question. It's a fake question that you're kind of falling into the same trap.
What do they say?
Because they try to get people and say, you're an anti-Semite. People have no right to exist. Everyone in the world has a right to exist. No one doesn't have a right to exist. Things exist. So I think you're getting stuck in the same linguistic rhetorical trap. There's no substance behind that question. It's a trap that Zionists use to call people anti-Semites, and you're using the same thing to call them a Zionist. It's not a real thing. Zionism doesn't mean anything. It means Zionism is just found in Israel. It's a thing that people, the right to exist doesn't mean anything. It's, do you believe in two states or you don't believe in two states? And if you believe in two states, you're the same as Arafat, you're the same as Clinton, you're the same as anyone who thinks he wants a solution. Okay?
I don't think it's that simple.
It's criticism of life. I don't think
What do you do for a living, sir?
you ain't did nobody I care about.
Okay, as opposed to what? Dismantling it and creating something new? I'm the only fucking lunatic that thinks that on Earth. No one else thinks that.
We probably wouldn't be having conversations. We just go
But it's a fringe view. It's a fringe view, and I'm on the fringe. The most liberal, progressive, pro-Palestine people want a two-state solution where one is a state and one is a Palestinian state and have their own governments. That's what most people
front of a room, and they're like,